Task to come back at you with another episode, splashing in the fishbowl. And on today's episode, yeah, that's right, we talk about grandma and granddaddy. Okay, this is what we talking about. Just so you won't be confused, everybody like to say, Papa was a Rolling Stone, granddaddy's out there having kids over here, over there. He was a truck driver. He got kids everywhere in every state, family in every state, right? And nobody don't talk about what grandma did. Everybody like, don't go there. Don't talk about grandma. But grandma had 6 kids, supposedly from Pawpaw, but 2 of them went from Pawpaw. And she know they went from Pawpaw, but he died and he didn't know they went from him, right? Okay. In another scenario, grandma had 8 kids. Same scenario from the first time, and this time 2 of the other kids ain't even got the same daddy. But grandma, nobody don't talk about what grandma did, right? It's just what granddaddy did. And we ain't saying granddaddy innocent, because granddaddy did have another family and a whole nother set of kids. Sometimes kids be even having the same name. That's crazy. But yeah, I was just chopping it up with my people, Rob, and I got my cousin Coke on here. We just was talking about this situation. Old subscribers, first day subscribers, YouTube family, appreciate y'all. Returning subscribers, new subscribers. If you ain't subscribed, go on and subscribe. Or you know how we doing it over here, splashing in the fishbowl daily. It's the podcast. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you like that. If you coming in trolling, make sure you hit the like button before you start trolling. That's all I ask of you. And write as much as you want. That helps my algorithm. Appreciate you. Splashing the fishbowl. We're going to get back to having this conversation. And, you know what I'm saying? Y'all hear what y'all hear, but y'all won't hear nothing but me. But yeah, Rob. Yeah, man, I had to just put that one out there, brother, because that was some very interesting shit, man. Yeah, I be on it daily, man. I'm on that. Like I said, if somebody would told me when I was like 7 or 6 that I can make money from sports, and somebody would have told me when I was 7 or 6 I can make money from sports, nigga, I would have been Bo Jackson, nigga. I would have played golf, tennis, basketball, football, nigga, every sport, nigga. I would have been the best at that shit too, nigga. The fuck ain't nobody tell me I can make money in that shit, so when I tried out for the sports, and the nigga was like, he was like a drill sergeant, the coach, right? I gotta take my mama out, cause she bought all that equipment and shit. And I went out there one day, nigga. No, it was the second day. This nigga like a drill sergeant, running around. Y'all gotta run around the football field. Like, I'm like, hold up. And I had done already started smoking, and I had done started doing crime too now. So I done bust the liquor to here, so I know how to make money. So it's like, hold up, nigga, you ain't my daddy. And nigga, you ain't finna be having me running around this bitch getting tired when I wanna go smoke right now anyway. Nigga, fuck this shit. So I ain't played no more sports after that, bro. Cause I ain't wanna listen to no nigga that thought he could just talk to me any kind of way. My daddy and you ain't related to me. That's what we be need. Yeah, that's what we need. But because I had done, like I said, I had done jumped out there, I had done started smoking, and I was busting licks. It wasn't no turning back from there. I know how to make money now doing this shit. Oh yeah, I'm out here. I went to doing everything from there, but you get the fuck, but I was out there like a lamb, bitch, quick out the door, out the gate, man. Probably like a little bit younger than that, I think. Well, how old you be when you leave elementary school? By about 11, 12? Cause how old you say you be? Yeah. I think I was younger than that though. I think I was like 11 in the 5th grade or some shit maybe. But yeah, though, cuz that's why I ain't play no sports, man. That boy had a nigga running around. That boy had a nigga running around, talking about running around the football field. I'm like, nigga, you tripping, nigga. Nigga, you ain't my daddy, boy. Man, I ain't finna get paid for this, man. Hey. So he had pistols. Oh, like Transformer. Jeez. Hey man, I got a couple of them people in my family. You know, I just pray for them. I talk to them, make sure they know who the Lord is, make sure they talking to the Lord. Cause I ain't got no heaven to put you in, no hell to put you in. But listen, man, you just gotta. Yeah, what I say. What you gonna do, man? I just make sure I tell mine though, like you coming to see me, don't bring them. You feel me? Like just you come. Yeah, boy, that's the worst. That's the worst spot to be in right there, man. Oh, I just thought about it. I can actually buy this thing now. I got a freezer in here. You know, live, nigga. One way to help you get over it is, nigga, when you do your first video, you probably will get one view, nigga. So ain't nobody listening to that first. Got to, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, don't even think about that part of it, bro. Just do that shit, man. I've been trying to tell my cousin to do it too. I'm telling you niggas, you ain't got to, bro, it ain't got to be specific type content, man. People just looking, they just want shit to watch. They want people to talk to. They want to interact. And real life people, you know? They'll buy shit from you, support you, send you money, all kind of shit, bro. Yeah, man. I make money off my t-shirts every day. I'm trying to figure out how, like, when I go live, the t-shirts and shit will be on sale at the bottom. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But I ain't figured out this YouTube shit yet. I'm working on it, though. I'm gonna be a YouTube millionaire, nigga. I ain't playing. I don't know if they putting commercials on my shit yet. I don't know. But I ain't getting paid for no commercial. I ain't making no money yet. Nah. Nah. You gotta get like. That's what I'm telling one of y'all. Y'all need to start doing this shit so y'all can tell me what the new guidelines is. Okay. The old guidelines is you gotta get. The old guidelines is What I'm under is you got to get 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and 10 million short watch hours. So they just started something new where everything I think that I just said is less. Like maybe you got to get 500 subscribers. Maybe you only got to get 1,000 hours of watch time and a million hours of short watch time, and then you can get paid. But the shit that I'm under, like, you gotta really have a fan base and people really watching if you get 4,000 fucking hours of watch time. Nigga, that's a lot of fucking eyes on you for a long time. But I am confident that I'm gonna get this money with YouTube. I'm gonna be a YouTube partner and a YouTube millionaire. Okay? Okay? We is determined out here. We is not fucking around. Imagine how many people the youth they got. And they leveled up. All the way up. Oh man. Hey, now I can say that's one thing. That's one thing I used to say, like, because I ain't understand YouTube then either, right? I ain't really, even though I watched a lot of YouTubers and they were saying like that you can make money on YouTube. I'm watching these niggas living GTA lifestyle now, saying that you can make this money on YouTube. And then look, and people like Samuel L. Jackson that you just watching, he ain't showing off no flashy shit. He ain't really talking about money. He just living life, right? Regular life, doing whatever he doing, talking about what he talk about. And you, like he say, you just seen this shit change though. You can tell this shit change. Nigga ain't said I made $1 million, right? You hear me, cuz? Yeah, like, we can't say it's all from YouTube, but I believe it, a lot of it was. You know what I'm saying? But you, like you say, you just see that shit change, man. And I believe, nigga, just like them other niggas got it, we can get it. Y'all boys, they gotta start posting, man. You don't believe in yourself, bro? I'm saying 2025, April, what is it, 11th. You don't believe in yourself, my boy? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I'm trying to. It's almost like we were saying about running these trucks, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta run, man. You gotta run, man. YouTube, you gotta keep going. You can't stop. And that boy still trying to back up. Now that's crazy. Yo, what's up? What's up? They got all night flight, man. Yeah. Damn near. It's a warehouse, or they got one of them makeshift docks? That boy said he knew. Yeah, nigga, he been parking for 30 minutes, nigga. You thought they gonna do it all. I think they just talking shit. Yeah, you think they'll do that though? What, like, hey, you ever seen the truck where they be having like 3 and 4 of them in there? Like, bro, what is y'all doing, bro? Listen, man, as bad as I wanted to do it with my peoples, I can't do it. I can't do it. I wanted to do it. I still want to do it, but I can't do it, bro. I said, as bad as I wanted to do it, because my people had just got out, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do it with them, but, you know what I'm saying? I just can't be like that confined with a nigga willingly. Like, if I'm in jail, nigga, we in the same cell, I ain't got no choice. We cellmates, nigga, but to be free and be confined like that close to a nigga all the time and smelling them and smelling me, no, bro, what? Listen. Only way I survived the training was because I know that's the only way you're going to get the job. You got to go with this trainer for X amount of weeks to get this job. So, nigga, I did that. You feel me? That's the only, but even with him, bro, like, I ain't gonna cap. First night I got in the truck with my trainer, you know, as a new driver, you ain't supposed to drive at night, right? Shout out to, what that nigga name was, I can't think of his name right now, but shout out to him, though, white boy, man. First night we get in the truck, I get in the truck, this nigga drove maybe 20 miles from the yard. He was like, hey, look, man, you're not supposed to drive at night, but you think you're up to driving tonight? It's like, I'm going to get some rest, and if you don't want to drive, we'll just start in the morning. I was like, hell yeah, because you know when you leaving the orientation, you ready to drive, you feel me? Yeah, you ready to drive, but you know, sat in orientation 3-4 weeks, learning how to drive, now you get an opportunity. That nigga asked me, bitch, I drove all night, and I was on his clock. That's crazy. And I was on his clock, bro. And then, hey, look, and then when we got to where we were going, we switched to my clock, and I kept driving, nigga, and he ain't say shit, and I ain't say shit, because, nigga, I was happy as fuck to be driving, nigga. What? Big truck shit, nigga, fuck you mean after I done been 20, nigga, what you talking about? What? Say your first time out was with Gold? Say your first time driving was with Gold? Yeah, on top. Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. He taught me all the right shit, but me and that nigga got into it about showers, boy. Like, he type he ain't want to bathe, and I was like, you know how you can go drive all day one day, and this nigga ain't want to bathe, bro? I say, all right, bet. This next time when it's my time to drive on my 30-minute break, I'm gonna take me a shower. Don't you know this man asked me what I'm doing? Nigga, this is my 30-minute break. What you think I'm finna do? Nigga, I'm finna go shower, nigga. Oh, we gotta be to the nigga. I don't care nothing about none of that, bruh. This is my 30-minute break, bitch. You don't wanna let me use your card, I'll pay for it. But bitch, I'm finna go take a bath, bitch. You tripping. And that's gonna say like, you went out there with gold to learn how to do this shit, right? So they gonna make us parking spot, huh? That's why I said they gonna make a parking spot, nigga. Yeah. Yeah. What happened, cuz? Where you Google phone at, my boy? Come out, you don't know where you going. You can't Google the address, man. Huh? Cuz how you don't know what building it is, but Google ain't showing you? So you ain't trying. So you ain't trying to turn in and get stuck somewhere you ain't even supposed to be, huh? No. You got the right spot? You got fun. Like say you was in the right spot though. You out there in Cali, in the right spot, my boy. Yeah, you good.
Yo, hey, beat it over, bust it open for a real nigga. She be drinking smokes, her pussy feel different. See, when it brick by brick, that shit feel different. Look, baby, look like a brick, that shit feel different. Hey, move fast and slow. I threw a whole fit. Who them niggas money? Hold with it. Hey, fuck with Tony, nigga, baby, let the show, nigga. Got slow motion for me. She say the kid even waiting, gonna stroke for me. She told me to put that phone away, she won't be focused on her. She chocolate and she must not know that I love mocha on. I'm sloppy, eat that pussy like a goblin, got it soaking, homie. My dick so thick, it got a pussy wide open for me. I pay for ass shots and now it's size poking on them. And now these rappers all of a sudden wanna focus on them. If it ain't mine, you
What
can have
happened?
it. If it ain't mine, you can have it. I don't even want it. I'm getting money, touching keys, just like Stevie Wonder. Can't see no hater, no even go want it.
Nah, man, we gotta move immediately, cuz we out here for the money, man. Yeah, immediately. Nah, immediately. As soon as they say they got money, bitch, where is that? Yeah, that's the attitude they have about that money. Hell, nah, nigga, what the fuck you talking about, cuz? You was just at the house comfortable without a, cuz you just at the house comfortable, bitch. If you out here with this money, bitch, you gotta go. Yeah, yeah. No walking, huh? They say he come out like he demanding payment and shit. How you know they got to reschedule though? He be saying what? Damn show got the entertainment eye right now though. It's out here, man. We just gotta do it the right way. It's out here, man. You gotta catch the lanes while you running, cuz you know where to run at. Got that money guns. You know where you can shoot at right quick and go grab your 5-6 bands right quick on the load. Yeah, no, cuz. I could got Bitcoin on it. That shit that you save in multiple ways. What at least I think it's what it is 1.5 savings interest. Nah, man, that's a good app, right? They just got to use that bitch the right way. Top shot, huh?
Yo, I beat it over, bust it over for a real nigga. She been drinking, see my herself, cause it feel different. See, when it brick by brick, that shit feel different. Look, baby, look like a brick house, that shit feel different. Hey, do it fast and slow with it, baby, touch your toes with it. She done hit the flow with it. I done threw a hole fit. Who them niggas money, luckily I bought my pole with me. Hey, fuck with Tony, nigga, ugly, let the show, nigga. Now slow motion for me. She say the kitty been waiting on the struggle for me. She told me put that phone away, she won't be focused on her. She chocolate, yeah, she must not know that I love mocha on. I'm sloppy, eat that pussy like a goblin, got it soaking home. My dick so thick, it got her pussy wide open for me. I paid for ass shots and now it's size poking on them. And now these rappers all of a sudden wanna focus on it. If it ain't mine, you can have it, I don't even want it. If it ain't mine, you can have it, I don't even want it. I'm getting money, touching keys just like Stevie Wonder. Can't see no hater, no these niggas wanna see me. My money coming in hundreds and make these bitches want us. Now make that ass clap. If she say see on her period, tell her take her ass back. Acting bougie like a booty Judy when it's really flat. I forgot what her name was. Asthma attack. Now slow motion for me. No, she like riding bullshit and coach, buddy. She doing everything it takes to be the MVP. She said ain't no wrong hole when she drowning. It's going down, G. Now slow motion for me. She say the kitty been waiting on the struggle for me. She told me put that phone away, she won't be focused on her. She chocolate, yeah, she must not know that I love mocha on. I'm sloppy, eat that pussy like a goblin. Dark chocolate with a splash of the cherry in the middle. She a bad little thing, back, sit in the middle. Like a light skin, brown skin, dark and white. I don't give a fuck. Get it on tonight. I be on some other shit when I'm out with a bitch. I ain't trying to hear the talking, whole suck on a bitch. Keep you by a clothes, bitch. It's a me in the mission. And I gotta keep this money, hope you hoes are listening. Oh, I like it like that. I like it like that. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Don't bust it open for me. I like it like that. I like it.
Million dollar mission, man. No bullshit. We try to put food in the kitchen, cuz. Know that, man. Know that. Take a picture like Kodak. Try to put food in the kitchen out here. Have a nigga mission out here on a mission out here. Hey, that's crazy. What you think about it? You hear me, fam? I said, that's crazy when you think about it. I know I said we were talking about nothing personal, but just think about our grandma, nigga. That's crazy. Both of them, too. Grandma and her mama. Bro got a lot of kids, bro. That's crazy. When you think about it. Not as rare. Now they'll be having like 8 to 11 kids back in the day versus now they have maybe 2 to 4. Yeah, I think they was yeah, it was full, huh? Well, I was gonna say the dynamic of it was 2 people in the household. You know what I'm saying? So the niggas can go get the money and come home to a home shit. Versus guys like she on her own, he on his own, ain't no home. Probably why they ain't having the 8 and 11 kids. You feel me? And why it's sporadic, like I say, like hey, that's one reason. It ain't no home like it used to be, nigga. Cause remember what we say, even though granddad thought all 6 kids were his, or all 8 kids were his, it was because they were together that whole time. So because they were together that whole time, he ain't never questioned it. And they was able to have that many kids, you feel me? Maybe when they going in the other direction, brother.
I'm stopping to eat that pussy like a guy. No, I tried to put a splash of the cherry middle. She a bad little thing, back sit in the middle. Like white skin, brown skin, dark and white. I don't give a fuck. Get it on tonight. I be on some other shit when I'm out with a bitch. I ain't trying to hear the talking, whole suck on a bitch. Keep your eyes closed, bitch. It's a need and a mission. And I gotta keep it money for the hoes listening. Oh, I like it like that. I like it like that, shawty. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Don't bust it open for me. I like it like that. I like it like that, shawty. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Don't bust it open for me.
Gotta get this chicken. Yeah, that's what we was talking about, man. On go mode, man. We get it and go, man. What you talking about? Gotta get that shit, man. You know, we done heard horror stories of niggas sitting around waiting on shit, guys. We done heard the horror stories of niggas sitting around waiting on shit for days. I'm talking about empty trailer waiting on the load for days. So when them boys tell you, hey, we got this money on the line, we gotta go. We gotta get up and go get that shit immediately, man. Unless you sleepy. Now I said that's a different story if you sleepy, yeah. What he got out of look? Nah, get the pictures, man. Get the pictures, but sometimes you can't always send the video. It'd be hard to send the videos. left them on the truck. Yeah, I always take freeload. Nobody on the block, man. That's different. That's different. They leave it on my truck, man. It's mine right there. Gotta get some food, man. We ain't ate nothing, man. Except for a gas station biscuit this morning, dog. Gotta get some food, man. You were singing that depressed shit, man. I don't want to hear that sad nigga, man, right now, man. We trying to feel good. I told you, joy is to the heart. A broken spirit dries the bone, nigga. I don't want my spirit. I don't give a fuck about it. I'm sad and going through shit. I don't want to think about that shit. Think about this money. Make me feel better. Getting cheddar. Getting cheese. Going steak. The steak. Run it up like this. Hold on. Bitch, gotta go because I'm busy. I got shit going on. Get with me. When you can, if you can. Because I be moving around. No Peter Pan, no Mickey Mouse. Bitch, milkman be in your house. And if you talk crazy, I be in your mouth. What you running about? In and out. Of the South, Northwest, West Coast. Don't give a fuck where the check's at. That's where I'm going, bitch. I'm trying to run it up. Let's get this shit. Big trucks. Get big bucks. Don't fuck with no cluckers. Don't fuck with no suckers. I go get my money. You come motherfucker. Hold up. Let me go. Super clean. For the radio scene. I need a hit. Yo. Yeah, man, just vibing, man, vibing. You sure that's yours and not mine? Cause you know I got them earbuds now. So man, losing that signal, dog. got you something else or nothing yet? You finna chill for the night? For like 4 p.m. That's crazy. I didn't even know I'm back, man. Yeah. I don't even know what state I'm in right now, boy. It's crazy. It's what we need to be, baby. I was tracking the states. Caught so many of them bitches so quick, nigga. I be on my shit. West Coast today, East Coast tomorrow. Let's go. Think I gotta go drive around this piece or something. Nah, I don't like this dude. I don't like this one though. What's up? Oh yeah. Chicken, man. Chicken, man. Time for new chicken. You said it's gonna be the same week though, right? Say you ended the week right there. What it look like? They just putting it out for storage. Makes sense. But instead of holding up the truck, yeah, nigga, right up in the storage fee. Like, man, store this shit till they figure out what they gonna do. Yeah, holding it up for a whole week with one load. One of there holding nigga on one day, bitch. Y'all better figure it out. Y'all shit sitting in the warehouse on 26th Street, bitch. shit kind of heavy. It pushed me all the way down, all the way up. 75. And I ain't know it. I had to slow it. I had to slow my roll, cuz. Let's poop though. Everybody go through it. Nigga better get to it, do it. Nigga better get to it, do it. I gotta get to it fluid, bitch. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Why? Cause it gotta get done. And who I'm gonna depend on? None. Nah, no one but me, bitch. Yeah, you have to be like an ad lib over a weak ass nigga. You know I can depend on my mom. Wait, I can depend on my mom. Bitch, you a grown ass man. You need to go and stand on 10 damn toes, pull up your pants and tighten up your belt. Fuck wrong with you? The shit that I smell, the shit that I seen, the shit looking weak. Motherfucking men thinking they can stay for free. Get somebody's house because it's my mama's house. And I don't gotta pay no fucking bills. For real. I don't gotta pay the light bill. I don't gotta pay the cable bill. I don't gotta put no food in here. But I'm gonna come around here. I'm gonna suck up the AC, suck up the damn heat, go in the refrigerator like I put food in here, and I'm gonna damn eat. Nigga walk in the crib, ain't paid damn bill. He gonna walk in there and look in the refrigerator like he put everything in that bill. I want to eat nigga. I don't know who caught it, but I know I'm about to go and eat it. Get a little fisty. Hey man, shit be weird and different and weird. We need some juice though, man. We need some juice, man. juice at? We get some juice, man. Charge them up. They were trying to die. I was like, what the fuck? I would lie. They could die. Nigga talk shit, but I splash in the fish roll all on the daily. High on the mountain. High in the sky. Shit looks like final destination. If you go off the cliff, you might die. I'ma tell you, pay attention. Listen. I didn't rip it. Ripping and beating the road. You know I gotta go get this dough. Ripping and running. Running and ripping. Hold up. I'm on a roller coaster. Hold up, man. Alright. Yeah, that shit just busted my damn headphone, man. Hello? That shit just busted my headphone, cuz. The little stupid ass, damn, man, I threw the damn receipt away. Nigga, that was $10 worth of quantity. Nigga, how that shit first dropped, that shit bust open, man. What the fuck? Oh, eardrum bust open. I ain't joking, man. That shit couldn't withstand one drop, bro. I gotta find this same pair of headphones to go swap these shits out. I'm gonna buy another pair and take them right back in there. Say, man, this shit fell apart as soon as I opened it, man. Yeah. Stuff fell apart. That's crazy. I stay tearing up some headphones, boy. Even the earbuds ain't, I don't think I had these shits a week. I got a feel gonna be to the house when I get there right now. Why is the water so right now though? Shit, crazy, man. No, I gotta get some black ones anyway, cause these shit's all white, all seeable. Get them black buddies just to blend in. I'm on these country back roads, man. I'm surprised I still got signal out here, man. Stops coming up, what the hell? They gotta be tripping, they gotta be something around here. That shit said nothing. Yeah, look at that. You know what I'm saying? She capped out, man. She capped out. Almost missed that bit. I don't want to miss that shit. Almost missed that bit. And a Harlem lane doing that thing. Almost missed that bit. I don't want to miss that bit. hit that thing. Come and go to bread. Nigga maintain. Woo. 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 Trying to tell a nigga, hold on. Broke ass fucking headphone. Hey, cuz, yeah. Give me a minute, cuz. I gotta get to another truck stop, get some more headphones. I'm gonna hit you back. Splashing them all of our action. They ask me what happened. I say, every time we get there talking about how granddaddy was a rolling stone and had him another home, we don't never talk about what's going on with grandma, what she got going on. Mama got 11 kids, 6 of them from Papa, 8 of them from Hoo, and then from Tutu. And 1 of them from Joe Man down the street. And 1 of our aunties they never even meet they daddy. Don't tell me nothing, listen here, I ain't putting down grandma, she did what she did, just like granddaddy did, everybody handle their own biz. Back in the day, listen, biz, they used to have a lot of kids, cause it was always a man in the house that was gonna make sure they was seeing about, but nowadays, it's like every woman for herself. Some of these women don't even want a nigga help. And that shit that crazy, but the government did it, and did it later. They like, no kidding, we'll give you this and give you that, but you gotta kick out Jack. And what, Jack went to the curb, you heard, swerve, she can get this without having something, and not having fuck every night, all right. And there you go, a split in the family, that for sure. That was a help to the demise of the black family, surprise. Thought it was, thought it wasn't. Thought it was, thought it wasn't. No, it was. Listen, cousin, don't you think I'm out here bugging? I'm just telling you these facts. What contributed to all that? Let me cut my lights in. Cause it looking like it's out in black. This guy just wanna keep riding next to me. Don't know what's the problem be. Keep trying like he keep up and can't keep up. Going up an uphill, he could probably keep up my 4-wheel. Going downhill, you know not to pull up next to me over hill. I kick it to get go so fast that I have a little fear of catching the ticket. I have to hit the brakes on the Dixie. Cause I ain't trying to get no ticket. You gotta do speed, let me kick it in. Like Bruce Lee. Boy, what you talking about? You ain't even calculate that. But I ain't even going there, Jack. What you need to do is just relax. Kick back. Overtime, overgrind, overshine, over yours and over mine. You got the Pepsi warehouse. You got the force, and I got the force. You got a voice, and I got a voice. You got a voice, I got a voice. You on the force, I'm on the force. You got a voice, I got a voice. You on the force, you on the force. I got a voice. You got a voice, you making noise, we be them boys. Don't play no games, don't play no toys. Ha, doing my thing, gotta maintain. How did I drop my speed so damn much? What the fuck was up? I don't do, gotta run it. But I'ma keep coming up, no drama, no drama. How can a grown man say that he can stay in his house and not pay no bills just because this is mama house? What the fuck you talking about? Nigga, who the fuck will pay the water? Who the fuck will pay the electricity? Who can pay the cable that your ass trying to see? Who can pay the whatever that need to be paid? Get your shit together, man. Don't be a lazy ass bum. Go get you something. Money. It makes you feel better when you got some cheddar. Listen to me, get your shit together. It's coming from a nigga that's getting this shit together, alright? Now, money I'm managing, money I'm handling. Listen, I ain't got time for no type of scandals, man. Caught up on the same thing. I just need to change. You can keep the fame, man. I just want to take the money straight to the bank, gang. Cash out and count that shit up. Take it to the bank, gang, then cash out and count that shit up. I count that shit up. I count that shit up. I count that shit up. No, get that shit up. Count that shit up. Count that shit up. Count that cash up. Go count that cash up. Count that cash up. Go count that cash up. Count that cash up. Count that cash up. Run that bag up. Go count that cash up. Run that bag up. Go count that cash up. Crossing the line. Crossing the lane. Talking that shit. Doing your thing. Why did you break down? What's going on right now? I got to move around. You know I make pound. You know I put down. You should come get down. Like how I move, like how I see sound. Doing it. You know, get to it, pop it, fluid. I'm moving it. Ran it up. Had to. Run it back. That's it. Had to. Got you. Running. You getting it money. We keep it coming. You know that is nothing. Hold up. Running. Stop running and running. Start running and running. Why is you running? Why is you running? Who is that coming? You talking shit? Why is you running? Who is that coming? What have you done it? Who talking shit? Who talking shit? Like they cannot go get hit. Yeah, you drop your shit. This nigga is 70. You should go get on that. Quick. Fast. In a hurry. Get car. Make a dash. Forward. Let me hear. Just blow it. Uh-oh. What that is? That's that.
Being over, busted over for a real nigga. She be drinking sea moss, her pussy feel different. See when it's brick by brick, that shit feel different. Look, baby, look like a brick, how that shit feel different. Ain't do it fast and slow with it, baby, touch your toes with it. She done hit the floor with it, I done threw a hole with it. Who them niggas running? Luckily, I bought my pole with it. Ain't fuck with Tony, nigga, ugly for show, nigga. Got slow motion for me. She say the kitty even waiting on the stroke for me. She told me to put that phone away, she want me focused on her. She chocolate and she must not know that I love mocha on. I'm sloppy, eat that pussy like a goblin, got it soaking home. My D so thick, it got a pussy wide open for me. I pay for ass shots and now it's size poking on them. And now these rappers all of a sudden wanna focus on them. If it ain't mine, you can have it, I don't even want it. If it ain't mine, you can have it, I don't even want it. I'm getting money, touching keys, just like Stevie Wonder. Can't see no hater, no these niggas wanna see me phone. My money coming in hundreds and make these bitches want us. Now make that ass up. She say see on her period, tell her take her ass back. Acting bougie like a booty Judy when it's to the flat. I forgot what her name was. Asthma attack. That's slow motion for me.
You know she like riding boy, she the coach, buddy. She doing everything it take to be the MVP. She said ain't no wrong hole when she round me. It's going down, G.
That's slow motion for me. She say the kitty even waiting on the stroke for me. She told me put that phone away, she won't be focused on her. She chocolate and she must not know that I love mocha on. I'm sloppy, eat that pussy like a goblin.
Dark chocolate with a splash of a cherry in the middle. She a bad little thing, back sit in the middle. Like white skin, brown skin, dark and white. I don't give a fuck, get it on tonight. I be on some other shit when I'm out with a bitch. I ain't trying to hit a talking hoe, suck on a bitch. Keep your bar closed, bitch. It's a million a mission, and I gotta get this money. Hope you hoes is listening.
I like it like that. I like it like that, shout.
Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Gon' bust it open for me.
I like it like that. I like it like that, shout.
Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Bust it open for me. Gon' bust it open for me. Super Bowl shit. Hey, hey, hey. From the city of the go-getter, go get it. Hustle, get all the muscle, it's a big broken on the deep, looking to get the things. Hell no, we gon' ball. Candy paint 30-inch wheels and all. And ain't no job, but we still getting to it. If you working 9 to 5, pull overtime just to survive, still stay alive. What's the move for the paper? What's the move for the paper? What's the move to survive? Gotta stay alive. What's the move for the paper? What's the move for the paper? Let's mountain all over the floor. I'm turned up in my show. And everywhere we go, we connect with the city. You know I got them country boys with me. We're connected with the zones. Asian, Jamaicans, Cubans, Mexican, and every other race I connect with. Motek, bitch, DJ worldwide. Play my shit, so what you wanna be a hater, bitch? I'ma hit a bitch, right later, bitch. I'ma come straight through your hood on some fucking hater shit. And I'm linking up with whoever trying to get this paper, bitch. From the city of the go get it. Hustle, get all the muscle, it's a big broken on the dick, looking to get up the bricks. Hell no, we gon' ball. Candy paint 30-inch wheels and all. And ain't no job, but we still getting to it. If you working 9 to 5, pull overtime just to survive, still stay alive. What's the move for the paper? What's the move for the paper? What's the move to survive? Gotta stay alive. What's the move for the paper? What's the move for the paper? Gotta be fly, gotta get fly. Can't tell you why ladies always gonna love on that guy with that bankroll. So fuck what you think, bro. I'm about to go bankroll. If this is my bankroll, I'm blowing up like bankroll. It's hard work to pay it off, and I am so grateful for everything I've been blessed with. No devil can take this. I make hits like Mo making Chris in the kitchen, a quick fix, some good shit. I have you do it for a minute while you running around and get it. Really in the vision, and I will not stop until I can't go cash in. From the city of the go get it, hustle, get all the muscle, broken on the dick, looking sicker than the bitch. Hell no, we gon' ball. Candy paint 30-inch wheels and all. And ain't no job, but we still getting to it. If you working 9 to 5, overtime just to survive, still stay alive. What's the move for the paper? What's the move for the paper? What's the move to survive? Gotta stay alive. What's the move for the paper? What's the move for the paper? Let's get it. I be grinding all day. I'm about my money, don't play. I be on my grind. I said the time is money equals time.
Money and cars, we make shit happen. Living like stars, we make shit happen. Money and cars, we make shit happen. Living like stars, we make shit happen.
Back 100, flip 100, turn 100 to some money. Back 100, slash 100, now you got some type of time. Ain't no time to slack up, go for more, go harder, play the game smarter. No bitches over here, we all starter. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Walk breathing, shout out to my bleeding. All across the land is where I'm about to breathe in. And those stop, I ain't worried about a thing. Plus I'ma do my thing, you must not know my name, Milkman.
Do your thing, man. Do your thing. Water, do your thing, man. Milkman, Mr. Milktastic, splashing in the fishbowl. Come back at you with another episode. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Yeah, we'll be back again. What? Oh, I gotta see what that says. Before I get up out of here, I gotta see what that says.
stopped feeling anything at all. By the time Jada was able to stand on her own, she had become a predator, and everything was food. "What up, Jada?" Scar called from the stairs. He had his henchman, Lloyd, with him. "About to turn in because I'm tired as hell." She continued walking toward the building with the Three Stooges on her heels. "I know that's right, because you've been running through my mind all day," Lloyd said. He was a funny-faced, dark-skinned kid with an overbite and a nervous tick. "Oh, now that's one I never heard before," Jada said sarcastically. She tapped for the elevator and busied herself with the BlackBerry, hoping they'd get the hint, which they didn't. Scar stepped up before Boogie could hit her with another stupid line. "So what you getting into today?" "My bed. I just told you that I'm tired." Jada rolled her eyes behind her shades. She silently wished that the elevator would hurry so she could get away from Scar. She'd known him for years, but he still gave her the creeps. "Nah, I meant later on," he explained. "That new flick, The Last Outlaw, just came out, and I'm trying to catch it on opening night. The shit is based on a book by that nigga Quan, and it's supposed to be off the hook. Sorry, I saw the screening last weekend. The author's wife is a friend of mine." Scar scowled. "Yeah, I forgot that you run in high-class circles." "Because I'm a high-class chick. Ask about me," Jada said, waving her lollipop dismissively. "Alright. So if not the flick, then let's go get something to eat." He threw the car and parked and started flipping through the magazine. He and Nefertiti went too far back to dance around the subject, so he spoke from his heart. "Yeah, your gun go off, but you ain't shooting to kill nobody. Now, I ain't trying to say you won't lay your murder game down, but while I'm shooting to take a nigga out of the game, you shooting to get him off your back. So now I'm a pussy?" Nefertiti was beginning to get agitated. "Never that, my nigga. Nef, I'll take you and Ashanti in my corner going to battle over 100 of the illest cats you can find, next to Animal, of course. We family, blood. But I know if given a choice, you would let a nigga live to keep that kind of evil off his soul. Whereas, I'm going for the kill. A live enemy equals a loose end that you'll always have to worry about. Nef, just because me and Ashanti are rotten doesn't mean that you have to be. God makes us all different, and I respect you for being who you are." "Whatever, man," Nefertiti said, and occupied himself by staring out the window. For as long as he'd been riding with the crew, they had teased him about not being as bloodthirsty as the rest of the hounds. More often than not, he would laugh it off. But he did have his moments where he could get caught up in his feelings about it. Neff was so caught up in his thoughts that he almost didn't notice that they had exited the parkway. Roscoe did the speed limit as they drove through the sleepy town of Goodness knew where. They had gone west for about a mile when Roscoe turned off a dirt road that led deep into a wooded area. After moving deep into the shoulder, he threw the car in park and started flipping through the magazine. "What the hell are we doing back here? I thought we were going to see Ashanti at the boys' home," Nefertiti asked. He wasn't sure how comfortable he was with the way Roscoe had stopped them in the middle of nowhere. His mind suddenly began to have flashes of how they did the kid in Alpha Dog, and it filled him with dread. "We are," Roscoe said, never bothering to look up from the magazine. Nefertiti was about to question him further when he heard shouting coming from somewhere on the other side of the woods. He looked over at Roscoe, who was just smiling as the shouting grew closer.
Nefertiti swung around nervously when he heard the bushes ruffling a few yards away. By this time, his imagination had him so wound up that he almost shit his pants when Ashanti came bursting out of the shrubbery, with two angry-looking men hot on his heels. Ashanti was dressed in a green sweatsuit that looked like it was 2 sizes too small, and a pair of strap-up sneakers. He wove this way and that, in a complicated pattern like he was trying out at a football combine, occasionally bounding over logs and fallen branches. The dark-skinned man, who was wearing a blue shirt and khakis, tried to tackle Ashanti, but the lithe boy made a sharp cut, and the man went skidding into the dirt. The second man, an older white gentleman with salt and pepper hair, managed to get out past Ashanti and stood between him and the car. He smiled arrogantly, knowing that he had Ashanti trapped, but froze when he heard the telltale slide of the shotgun behind him. Roscoe stood wide-legged in the dirt, with the shotgun braced against his shoulder, drawing a bead on the man's back. "Break yourself, white boy," Roscoe snapped. "Hey, take it easy, kid," the man said. When he attempted to turn around, Roscoe pressed the shotgun in his back. "They don't pay you enough for what you're about to do," Roscoe whispered in the man's ear. "Let's go, little homie," he shouted over to Ashanti. Ashanti made sure that there was extra swagger in his walk when he moved past his former jailers. He stopped short of the man Roscoe was holding at gunpoint and sized him up. All of the counselors at the boys' home were assholes, but this one had been especially cruel to little Ashanti. Without warning, Ashanti drew his hand back and slapped the man so hard that the sound scared off a family of geese that had been swimming in a nearby pond. The man went to the ground in a heap, holding his jaw that had already turned bright red and was beginning to swell. "I told you one day I was gonna get your ass back, pussy." Ashanti kicked him for good measure before jumping into the backseat of the car and making his escape. "You should turn this bitch around so I can let one of them pussies hold something," Ashanti said, stroking his shotgun with a look of lust in his eyes. It had been quite some time since he held a gun, and the feeling was akin to a junkie relapsing. "Shut up and give me that damn gun before you shoot one of us by accident." Roscoe snatched the gun from him and handed it to Nefertiti. "What the fuck just happened?" Nefertiti asked, looking from the gun to Ashanti nervously. He kept checking the mirrors to see if they were being followed. "A jailbreak? What the fuck does it look like?" Ashanti laughed. Nefertiti shook his head in frustration. "Only y'all two niggas can cook up some shit like this and manage to rope me into it too. We gonna fuck around and go to jail." "Stop crying, Neff. This system is so jammed up that they ain't even gonna bother to look for me once we cross the county line. If anything, I just freed up a bed for the next poor bastard they toss in that bitch." "Roscoe, I can't tell you how happy I was when you sent word that you were busting me out, even if it did take your ass forever to make it happen. If I had to spend one more month in that joint, I was gonna lose it. You know you wouldn't have been in it that long if we were still in the streets. Dog, a nigga was on twist when they laid me down. When I touched the streets again, I had to build from the ground up," Roscoe explained. "I thought Neff was out there holding him down from the kites he was sending me. Son sent up mad pictures of him with mad bitches and popping bottles with some lame-ass niggas from uptown," Ashanti said. Roscoe looked at Nefertiti and then at Ashanti. "Holding him down? Man, this nigga was working in the stockroom at BJ's while we were locked up." "Chill, son. You know, with all that heat on us, I had to keep a low profile. Me working up there was just a front," Nefertiti boasted. "Front my ass, Neff. The only reason your monkey ass ain't still working at BJ's is because they caught you stealing them frozen shrimp and fired you. Roscoe laughed. Ashanti shook his head. Shrimps, dog? Nefertiti tried to act like he was mad, but couldn't hold back the laugh any longer. Shrimp, steak, and whatever else I could get my hands on. Every 1st, 3rd, and 15th, I'll be posted right in the front of the check cashing spot, getting my sling on. Them government checks were going from the state to the broads to my hands. I was killing them. Now your ass is crazy, Ashanti said, wiping a tear from his eyes. Yo, Roscoe, let me see the kite, son. Roscoe handed him the letter that had been tucked in the magazine. Ashanti was so shocked that he read it twice. I can't believe it, dog. Son, do you know what this means? Roscoe nodded his head and said wickedly. It means that all these bitch-ass niggas are about to fall in line. Chapter 2. Malika stood under the warm spray from the shower head as it beat down on her shoulders and back. She lathered up the loofah and began to wash her breasts one at a time. She took extra care around the areolas, relishing in the sinful sensation that traveled the length of her body. It had been quite a while since Malika had been with a man, and even as her body craved one's touch, she refused to settle just to get it done. She grabbed the nearly empty bottle of mane and tail shampoo and began lathering her long auburn dreads. It took her almost a full 10 minutes to make sure she had washed them thoroughly, and she knew they would take almost 3 times as long to dry. On more than one occasion, she thought about cutting them, but could never bring herself to do it. Malika was rinsing the last of the shampoo out of her hair when the water suddenly became ice cold. She staggered back, almost slipping in the shower. She quickly adjusted the knobs this way and that, but the water was still cold. You can't be serious, Malika huffed. Housing had cut the hot water. Again. From the pissy elevators to the abrupt hot water interruptions, Malika hated public housing. Growing up in an affluent neighborhood in Jamaica Estates all her life, finding her parents when she'd left the nest. But had she known what was waiting for her mother? Malika had been the pride of their household. She had an older brother and sister. She was the baby of the family and one of the ones who showed the most promise. Her father was a respected professor at NYU and her mother an RN at Jamaica Hospital. As a child, she wanted for nothing, but her parents also made sure she was kept on a very tight leash. Her father was a devout Muslim, but her mother wasn't, so this often caused conflict in the house. When the issue of religion was raised, her father reluctantly agreed to let the children choose their own path, but he always made sure that the presence of Islam was felt in their house. Like most young girls, Malika started feeling herself when she hit high school. She attended MLK in Manhattan, as opposed to Stuyvesant, like her parents had wanted. They thought it was because she hadn't been accepted, but unbeknownst to them, Malika had intercepted the acceptance letter and destroyed it, so they'd have to agree to let her go to King. From the first day, Malika had taken the long train ride to Manhattan to attend her new school. She was hooked on her newfound freedom. Attending high school in itself was exciting to Malika, but to be so far out of her parents' reach only added to the thrill. It didn't take long for the boys to notice the pretty caramel shorty with her supermodel smile and silky locks, and Malika soaked up the attention she got. While attending school in Queens, she often came across the same faces from year to year, but at King, all the flavors were different. It was like a great big stage, and the once quiet and reserved Malika found herself auditioning for the leading role. The summer before her junior year, Malika was a victim of her first crush. He had been a Brooklyn cat named Suede, who hustled in the projects near her neighborhood. Suede had money, cars, and the attention of every girl within a 10-block radius. Suede had chased young Malika for almost 3 months before she would even entertain a conversation with him. Their courtship went from the chase to dating to her being pregnant by the older man. Malika's father went through the roof when he found out she was pregnant, and had it not been for her mother, he surely would have beaten the baby out of her. He was angry at his daughter for deviating from what they had taught her about being careful, but he was also very hurt. He had watched his own mother struggle to raise him and his sisters, and couldn't bear the thought of having his own child throw her life away. Malika's father had given her an ultimatum: abort the child or get out of his house. So she left. Suede got them a small apartment in the Bronx that they could call their own. It was only a studio, but it was theirs. Malika continued to go to school, but as the baby grew in her stomach, it became more and more of a struggle, and Suede's moodiness didn't make it any easier. It seemed like the further along she got in her pregnancy, the more distant he became, often not coming home for days at a time. Suede was totally out of order, but she put up with it rather than risking him leaving her. The more she put up with, the more Suede attempted, even giving her an STD during her 6th month of pregnancy. When she confronted him about it, he slapped her and accused her of giving it to him from her whoring, even though he was the only man she had ever been with. Suede eventually got arrested and left Malika to take care of the bills and him while he was away. She continued to go to school and work a part-time job at Wendy's, but the stress of juggling both of them in her current condition eventually became too much, forcing her to give one up. School wasn't paying her bills, so she let it go and toiled at Wendy's until she was 32 weeks into her pregnancy. She was scared, alone, and broke. But she held it together and gave birth to a beautiful baby boy that she named Solomon. From the first time she held him, she knew that it was impossible to love anyone or anything the way she loved her new son. The first years were the roughest for them, with Malika having to go without eating some nights so that her son wouldn't. Just before Solomon's 3rd birthday, she got the news that Swade had been released from prison, but for some reason, he hadn't bothered to tell her that he was getting out. She found out through a friend that he was staying with his mother in Manhattan. So one snowy day, she bundled little Solomon up and took the long trip into Manhattan. She wanted to surprise Swade, but she was the one who ended up surprised when she showed up on the doorstep, only to find Swade living with another girl, who was also pregnant by him. Swade looked at Malika like she was the dirt on the bottom of his shoe, and told his new girlfriend that she was just an obsessed little girl who was trying to pin another man's baby on him. Malika showed him obsessed when she opened his forearm up with a box cutter. That was the last time she saw Swade. Her first crush had damaged her heart beyond repair, so Malika threw herself into raising her son and trying to get her life back together. From that moment on, she vowed that the only man she would ever let into her heart again would be Solomon. Malika hadn't realized that she was crying until she blinked and a tear rolled down her cheek. She laughed because her tears were warmer than the water. Ignoring the frigid cold, Malika hurriedly washed away the rest of the shampoo and soap and jumped out of the shower so she could finish getting dressed. With towels wrapped around her body and hair, she stepped out of the bathroom and tripped over a sneaker that had been carelessly left in the hallway. "Damn it, Solomon!" she cursed, snatching the sneaker up and making her way down the short hall to his bedroom. Before she reached the door, she could hear the music coming from the room. It was a lewd song about money, clothes, and of course, hoes. She recognized the cut from a new mixtape that Big Dog Entertainment had released called Welcome to the Jungle, featuring Gand-Ma Did and his newest artist, The Animal. Malika pushed the door open and looked at her son in shock. At the age of 12, Solomon was almost as tall as Malika, but weighed about 90 pounds soaking wet. He was dressed in a red, black label t-shirt she bought him for Christmas, and a pair of skinny jeans that she certainly hadn't bought. More of a shock than the feminine jeans was the red bandana hanging from his back pocket. He never heard Malika when she walked into the room, but he felt it when she suddenly smacked him upside the head. "What the f—" Solomon started but caught himself. "For? You lucky I didn't punch you in the damn face." She snatched the bandana. "The hell is this?" "Huh?" Solomon asked dumbly. Malika grabbed him by the front of his t-shirt and held him in close. "Boy, don't play with me. What are you doing carrying this damn flag?" Solomon looked at the flag as if he were seeing it for the first time. "That ain't no flag, Ma. Flags have stripes and stars. That's just an old sweat rag." Malika gave him another pop with the hand holding the sweat rag. "Solomon, you know I ain't no square, so cut it out, okay? The people and things you choose to identify yourself with can have life-altering consequences, especially this little game right here." She waved the bandana in his face. "In certain neighborhoods, this piece of cloth could cost you your life. I'll kill you myself before I let the streets have you. Do you understand?" "Yes, Mommy," Solomon said tentatively. "And where did you get those tight-ass jeans? Because I know I didn't buy them." She frowned at the jeans. "These joints are fly, Ma." Solomon spun around so she could get a good look at them. "I used the money Grandma sent me for my birthday to buy them. Do you like them?" "No, I don't like them. Boy, it looks like you're wearing spandex." Malika tugged at the jeans, but they had no give. "Ma, you bugging. All in case of wearing these," Solomon told her. "Well, not my kid," she shot back. "Change the jeans before you give yourself a yeast infection." She snapped the bandana at him playfully and left the room. 15 minutes later, they were both dressed and ready to face the world. As soon as Malika and Solomon stepped into the hallway, they smelled it. It was like the smell of burning paper with an acidic bite. Malika sighed and made her way to stairwell A and peered inside. Then she shoved the door to stairwell B open and scared the daylights out of Shakes, who nearly dropped the crack pipe he was sucking on. "Damn it, Shakes!" Malika snapped. "Girl, you know better than to sneak up on an old man like that." Shakes gave her a rotten-toothed grin. He was dressed in a wrinkled business suit and a three overcoat. At one time, Shakes had been a master booster. But now he was just another addict, trying to escape the reality of his life. "And you know better than to be smoking that shit on my floor. I asked y'all not to do that." Malika folded her arms. "Oh, come on, baby girl. It's cold on them streets." Shakes pulled his jacket collar up, as if the chill had suddenly made it inside the stairwell. "Then smoke them rocks in your own damn house." Shakes gave her a bewildered look. "And have my mama kill me? I don't think so, baby. So other than busting the balls of honest crackheads like myself, what you been up to, Malika?" "Trying to keep crackheads from trying to get high in my staircase," she joked. "Nah, I'm just out here trying to get in where I fit in." "Malika, girls like you don't fit in. You carve your own niches. You ain't like the rest of these little girls. Shakes, how do you figure that and we all live in these same nasty-ass projects? She asked. Because you've got the good sense to see outside these project bricks, he replied. Malika, I know you ain't no angel, but you ain't into all kinds of foolishness like the rest of these chicks. I watch the young girls float around these projects from sun up to sun up, keeping company with different men and cussing like they ain't got no sense. Shakes, one could question your sense for still smoking them rocks, Malika said. Shakes looked at the pipe that he had only just realized that he was still holding and shrugged. Old habits for an old fool. You know how it can be. Ma, elevator, Solomon called. He was holding the elevator door open and tapping his foot impatiently. I'll catch you later, Shakes. Malika waved and got into the elevator. The tiny steel car was hot, greasy, and rank, as it was most of the time. Malika and Solomon had to stand nearly pressed against the door to avoid stepping in the puddle of urine in the center of the elevator floor. After what seemed like an eternity, the elevator reached the first floor and they rushed off, holding their noses. As usual, the local knuckleheads were standing in front of the building, taking up space. It seemed like no matter what time of day or night Malika came in, they were always there. Most of them were relatively harmless, but there were the few who were just trouble, which was the case with the young boy holding the door for Malika and Solomon. What's good, Malika? Scar asked. His shifty dark eyes rolled over her body. He was a young block star from the projects who wore trouble like a second skin. Scar had gotten a name because of the scar that stretched from his left temple to the tip of his nose. As the story went, Scar had wrongfully cut a man in one prison and ended up bumping into him in the second prison, where the favor was returned. Out of all the young men who hung out in front of Malika's building, Scar was probably the worst, constantly causing trouble and filling the younger boys' heads with gang propaganda. Not much, she replied and kept walking. What's good, buzzin'? Scar gave a little and the boy's eyes lit up. Solomon, Malika corrected Scar. Huh? Solomon. His name is Solomon, she told Solomon once they were out of earshot. My Scar's cool. That's the big homie, Solomon said proudly. That snake is not your homie. And I better not catch you in that lobby with him and those junior delinquents. Do you hear me? Okay, gosh, Solomon grumbled. He knew that his mother only rode him to protect him, but when she treated him like some stupid kid who didn't know what was happening on the streets. In Solomon's mind, he was technically the man of the house, and therefore it was his job to make sure his family was good. Day in and day out, he watched his mother struggle just so that they could have a little, and it tore him apart inside. He vowed that one day, she would be able to just kick her feet up while he took care of things. As they stood on the curb waiting for the lights to change so that they could cross the street and catch the number 7 bus, a gold Acura pulled to a clumsy stop at the curb. The door flew open, releasing a cloud of weed smoke and profane lyrics that were blasting from the speakers. A girl slithered from the car, dressed in a pair of tight-fitting jeans and spandex shirt. She had a bit of a gut, but her small waist and curvaceous hips drew attention away from it. The light breeze blew her rich black weave, making her look like Farrah Fawcett at a photo shoot. In her manicured hand, she held the 6-inch heels that had given her feet enough hell, so that she wore her broke-down thong flip-flops in the chill. Between her MAC-coated lips, she twirled a cherry lollipop back and forth while the driver gave her his parting words. She laughed and blew him a kiss, releasing him from her spell and allowing him to compose himself enough to drive away. Jada Butler was a bad chick, and she dared anyone to tell her different. What's up, Jada? I'm surprised to see your ass out and about so early, Malika greeted. Girl, I'm just coming in, Jada said proudly. What's up, Sal? Boy, you are getting just as big and as fine as you want to be. Jada smiled at Solomon, showing off the 15 grand in dental work she'd had done. Yeah, I know you see me, Jay, but you need to see about me, Solomon capped. Jada laughed. Listen to this one. You better watch that mouth of yours, Malika pointed her finger at her son. It's all good, Malika. You know, it'll be years before his little ass even has an idea of what to do with all this. Jada slapped herself on the ass. I doubt if he'll even be able to handle you even then. So where you coming from this morning? Jada popped the lollipop from her mouth and waved it like the conductor's wand as she spoke. Girl, old boy from the Knicks had a party in Atlantic City, and a friend of a friend had the hookup, so, you know, I had to be in the building. When I tell you that it was some things in the building, it was some things in the building. I hit your phone to see if you wanted to roll, but when you didn't answer, I ended up having to take that dusty bitch Renee with me, and you know, the girl ain't got no home training. I was probably studying when you called. You know I don't take no calls during crunch time, Malika reminded her. You still taking them online classes? 6 months away from an associate's in business management. Malika held up crossed fingers. Malika, you better than me. After spending 12 years in school, I couldn't see myself doing another day, let alone 2 more years just to get some piece of paper that says I'm qualified to do something that I already know how to do anyway. That piece of paper is going to be me and my little man's ticket out of these projects, Malika said seriously. There's easier ways to getting out of the projects than busting your brain with those books and paying the government back for the money you had to borrow to get the ball rolling in the first place. Chicks like you hustle backwards, Malika. You're pretty and smart, so it wouldn't be nothing for you to find somebody willing to lighten that load of yours and take you up out of here. You just gotta know how to go about it. Jada, you're twice as pretty as me, and you've been in these projects all your life, Malika pointed out. That's my choice, baby boo. I've lived in plenty of places, but it ain't nothing like my projects. Look, my whole family is here, so I ain't never got a problem with a babysitter. And the fact that I ain't gotta pay no light and gas frees up money for other shit. Malika thought on it.
My project.
But don't you get tired of all the bullshit that comes with living here? Scar and his boys play the lobby 24/7, and if I had $1 for every time the hot water was cut off or the elevators were broken, I'd be a rich woman. I'm not knocking what you're saying, Jada, but I don't think I could spend the rest of my life living off the mercies of public assistance and this jacked up ass housing system. Now hold on, Little Miss Sunshine. Jada placed her hand on her hips and looked at Malika seriously. I've worked different jobs since I was 11 years old. Even when I got pregnant with my son, I had a gig downtown stuffing envelopes. I've given the state enough of my time and money, so it's only right that they return the favor. For as long as the state is knocking out the bulk of my rent, I ain't got to do much other than rest and dress, Jada said with a snap of her fingers. I feel you, Jada, but I'd still rather go get it than have it given to me. Which is why your ass is broke and manless now, Jada teased her. But on the real, I ain't mad at you for the moves you making, Malika. If I had as high a tolerance for bullshit as you do, then I might not be out here living by my wits now. It ain't never too late, Jada. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna have fun with it for a while. Let me take my ass upstairs so I can lie down. I ain't been asleep in almost 48 hours. Jada yawned. Do you, and I'll catch up later. You still gonna be able to style my hair tonight? Malika twirled a handful of her locks. Yeah, as long as you come by at a decent time. I heard my cousin is in town and I'm trying to catch up with her before she breezes again. I ain't seen Gucci in a minute. What's up with her? Does she still date that rapper? Malika asked. Yeah, she's still all wiped up to that psycho motherfucker. Cause Oshore picked a live one with him. I don't even try to understand their relationship, but I'm loving the benefits she gets from being a superstar's wifey. I'm trying to get her to hook me up with one of them cats, and it ain't necessarily got to be a rapper. The way them niggas from Big Dog get money, I could probably do pretty good for myself with one of their hype men. Jada laughed. Malika shook her head. Jay, I don't know how you balance your kids and this rock and roll lifestyle of yours. Jada winked at her. It's an art, baby. Maybe one day when you come up for air out of them books, I can give you a lesson or two. Jada rubbed Solomon's cheek as she passed him. Bye, cutie. I'ma holler at you later, Ma. Solomon blushed. Boy, bring your thirsty ass on. Malika pulled him by the arm to the bus stop. Chapter 3. Jada walked up the avenue, sucking her lollipop and switching her ass hard enough to dislocate her hips. She turned the attention of just about everyone she passed, including the females. As she cut down the path en route to the stairs leading to her building, she spotted 2 local stoop rats sitting on the bench, sharing a cigarette. The one rocking the headscarf and mean mug was named Boots. She was a brown-skinned girl with a decent body, but a face that took a special kind of love or several shots to stare at too long. Boots was washed up, but thought that she still had a shot at greatness. With 5 kids by almost as many men, it was a stretch at best that anyone would take her for more than what she was, a jump-off. Jada couldn't stand Boots, and the only reason she hadn't whipped her out yet was because she was one of her cousin Gucci's best friends. What someone of Gucci's caliber could see in a girl like Boots was beyond Jada's comprehension, but she let it be to keep the peace. The second girl wasn't a hard-faced baby-making machine with a chip on her shoulder, but she was no less trifling. With big doe eyes and an inviting smile, she had the face of an angel and the wit of a snake. Sahara was a pretty dark-skinned girl who had moved to the projects from West Africa 6 or 7 years prior. When she was 10 years old, she was sold into slavery by her uncle and had been shuffled from port to port all around Europe as the plaything of those who had the money to spend for her. When she was 15, she managed to garner the attentions of an underworld figure from New York who dealt in international trafficking. Together, they plotted the robbery and murder of Sahara's latest owner and fled to New York. 6 months after arriving, the man Sahara had fled with was found dead at the scene of what the police were calling a dope deal gone wrong. For a time, Sahara floated from borough to borough, doing what she could to survive, until she had managed to locate some cousins of hers who were living in the projects and open their home to her. It didn't take long for Sahara to get a taste of the darker side of New York life and become turned out by it. Sahara was a young girl with champagne dreams and beer money. But considering what she came from, she was doing okay for herself. Sahar waved, and Jada waved back. They knew some of the same people, so they were cordial when they saw each other, but not Boots. She shot daggers at Jada as she passed, to which she responded by throwing on her shades and switched harder. To Jada, Boots was just one more sour face in a world of many. Ever since Jada could remember, she and her family had lived a world apart from their neighbors in the projects. With all the dirt they were involved in, it was the safest way to avoid an indictment. Jada was descended from a very long line of criminals. The Butler family notoriety went all the way back to her grandfather Jake, who in his heyday had been a leg breaker for Bumpy Johnson, but became the local numbers man in his later years. Up until the time of his death, Jake had always had some type of hustle going on. It was a fixation that he had passed on to all of his sons, but Jake Jr., or JJ as they called him, showed the most promise. He was a beast when it came to his grind, and his woman Gina was no slouch either. They were like the Bonnie and Clyde of the late 80s, and they lavished everything they took in on their baby girl, Jada. Things began to go south when JJ had gotten himself arrested for murder. He hadn't even been in Manhattan when the deed was done, but one of his close friends had told the police otherwise in order to save his own skin. Even though JJ was innocent of the killing, because of his violent criminal history, a jury would have more than likely gotten him fried, so he copped out to a lesser charge and had to wear 15 to life. The whole family was heartbroken when they lost JJ, but nobody took it harder than Gina. She slipped into a deep depression, and the only thing that seemed to soothe her bleeding heart was cocaine. When she had snorted through most of the money they'd had in the stash, Gina started freebasing, and it was all downhill from there. Social services stepped in, and had it not been for Jada's grandmother, Ms. Pat, taking her in, the little girl would have become a ward of the state. Jada was only supposed to be with Ms. Pat until Gina successfully completed the rehabilitation program, but less than 3 months after she checked in, Gina fled the program. Sobriety had become too heavy a cross to carry, so Gina went back to the oblivion of the pipe. Not long after her great escape, they found Gina dead in Central Park. She had gone into cardiac arrest after one of her drugs and collapsed in a secluded section of the park. Nobody really knew if it was that last blast that had killed her, or the fact that she lay in the freezing snow for almost 30 hours before somebody finally found her. Miss Pat had stepped to the plate and played the role of both mother and father to young Jada. Even with the constantly shifting cast of relatives that revolved in and out of the Butler house, Jada's grandmother made sure that Jada was never short on love. But for as loving as Miss Pat was, she made sure that Jada was under no illusions about the ugliness of the world they lived in. Miss Pat did the best she could in the attempt to raise Jada right, but she was so busy with her own struggles that Jada was often left in the care of her aunts and uncles. And it was from them that she really learned the ropes of what life was all about. Her uncles taught her to be hard and independent, while her aunts instilled in her ruthlessness and cunning. By the time Jada was a teenager, she was an accident waiting to happen. During her developmental years, Jada stumbled through life making more than her fair share of bad decisions, especially when it came to men. Jada had always been a pretty girl, so men were constantly coming at her, promising her everything but delivering nothing. She had to make trips to Planned Parenthood and the free clinic more often than she cared to remember, before she even got a clue as to sorting bullshit from the truth. For as hard as her aunts and uncles had made her mentally, there wasn't much they could do about her tender heart. The more she had gotten her heart broken, the colder she became, until it reached a point where she just stopped feeling anything at all. By the time Jada was able to stand on her own, she had become a predator, and everything was food. "What up, Jada?" Scar called from the stairs. He had his henchman Lloyd with him. "About to turn in because I'm tired as hell," she continued, walking toward the building with the Three Stooges on her heels. "I know that's right, because you've been running through my mind all day," Lloyd said. He was a funny-faced, dark-skinned kid with an overbite and a nervous tick. "Oh, now that's one I never heard before," Jada said sarcastically. She tapped for the elevator and busied herself with her BlackBerry, hoping they'd get the hint, which they didn't. Scar stepped up before Boogie could hit her with another stupid line. "So what you getting into today?" "My bed. I just told you that I'm tired." Jada rolled her eyes behind her shades. She silently wished that the elevator would hurry so she could get away from Scar. She'd known him for years, but he still gave her the creeps. "Nah, I'm in later on," he explained. "That new flick, The Last Outlaw, just came out, and I'm trying to catch it on opening night. The shit is based on a book by that nigga Quan, and it's supposed to be off the hook. Sorry, I saw the screening last weekend. The author's wife is a friend of mine." "Yeah, I forgot that you run in high-class circles." "Because I'm a high-class chick. Ask about me," Jada said, waving her lollipop dismissively. "Alright, so if not the flick, then let's go get something to eat." Scar pressed her. The elevator was still nowhere in sight. Jada couldn't take it anymore, so she decided to level with her. "Look," she removed her shades. "Scar, you my nigga, but, you know, I ain't messing with you like that." "And what's that supposed to mean?" he asked. "Nothing. It just means that I ain't really got time for the bullshit you putting down." Me and you live two different lifestyles. Oh, so now you acting all high off your shit because you shining a little bit. I guess you too good to fuck the hood niggas anymore. Scar asked defensively. Never that. You know my family is filled with some of the illest cast this project or any other has yet to produce. What I'm saying is that you still running around trying to game bitches out of their drawers with a bag of piff and a movie. And that ain't me, dude. There you go with that bullshit. Scar sucked his teeth. No, there you go with that bullshit. Scar, you shit where you live, so your dirt is out there for everyone to see. Why do you think that ain't nobody in the hood fucking with you but them young bitches? Jada, you know how the streets talk. Nah, I know how you move. Scar, me and you are peoples. But it ain't gonna never be much more than that. She told him just as the elevator finally reached the first floor. Jada stepped into the car without as much as a goodbye. Well, fuck you too then, bitch, Scar said after the elevator door had closed. Damn, I would love to have her work my dick like she'd be working them lollipops, Boone said. Jada ain't trying to fuck with you, nigga. You're a scumbag, Scar told him. Well, she ain't fucking with you either, so that makes us scumbags. And if Cuddy ever caught wind that we were sniffing around his baby mama, he might not appreciate it. Scar looked at Lloyd like he was stupid. Nigga, is you crazy? They gave Cuddy the long walk. That fast bitch Jada ain't fit to be no prisoner's wife. If it ain't my cock that tames her, it'll be some other nigga that's out here getting it. With a bitch like Jada, you can fuck her 6 ways to Saturday. But if you ain't handling it, it ain't gonna get you no closer to her heart, because she ain't got one. Scar pushed past Lloyd and walked back outside. When he reemerged from the building, Sahara and Boots were still sitting on the bench. He looked at the girls, who were staring at him in anticipation, and figured something was better than nothing. What up? Y'all trying to get high? Chapter 4. By the time Jada made it to her door, she was tired, irritated, and starting to get musty. All she wanted to do was take a shower and crawl into her bed. She had longed for the peace and quiet of her bedroom for the last 15 hours, and when she opened her front door, she sighed heavily because she knew she wasn't going to get it there. The sounds of Lil Wayne's Mr. Carter, blaring from the stereo speakers, battled with the television, which was also turned all the way up and tuned to the Steve Wilkos show. Clothes were hanging on the lines of rope that crisscrossed the living room, drying in the intense project heat coming from the pipes. Weeks-old newspapers were stacked on the coffee table and chairs, while toys littered the chipped-tile floors. In the center of all the craziness, ironing a dollar bill on a towel, was the patriarch of the family, Patricia Butler. Hey, Grandma. Jada threw her purse on the plastic-covered couch. Miss Pat mumbled and continued her ironing. The smoke from the cool cigarette dangling from her mouth wafted up over her glasses and over her stocking cap-covered head. What are you doing? Jada asked, looking at the rows of pressed dollars. That little Charlie done let me wash his pants without making sure he emptied his pockets first. Now I got to press all these damn singles because you know I ain't wasting no change around here. She slapped the dollar in one of her meaty palms to sort out the wrinkles before placing another wet one on the towel to be ironed. I wonder where the hell he was at to have all these singles anyhow. Probably the strip club, Jada commented. And speaking of whereabouts, where have you been? Miss Pat looked Jada over the rims of her bifocals. Oh, I told you me and the girls were going out with drinks, Jada said innocently. Miss Pat stopped her ironing and looked at her granddaughter seriously. Girl, that was 2 days ago, so don't come in here calling yourself being cute. Now, I've been in here chasing behind your badass kids, and I done missed out on I don't know how much money because your wayward ass is hindering my movements. Sorry, Grandma. Sorry as a dog with 3 broken legs trying to crawl to a cool drink of water on a hot day. You're just trifling. Miss Pat waggled the iron in her direction as she spoke. Now you done had your fun, so I think you best tend to your business before you try to pull another disappearing act. Miss Pat went back to ironing the damn bill. Grandma, why don't you stop acting like that? You know I be making moves, Jada said, pulling the wrapper off another lollipop and sticking it in her mouth. Moves my ass. I hope that lollipop was the only thing you were sucking on while you were out in them streets. Miss Pat thought on it for a second. As a matter of fact, don't even answer that. And while you're in the move-making mood, why don't you move your ass around the house and clean up after them kids of yours? All right, Grandma. Jada waved her off. There was a soft knocking on the door, 2 quick taps, then a dead slap. Miss Pat expelled the smoke through her nose and twisted her lips. Mumbling under her breath, she put the iron down and shuffled to the door, pausing to check the small derringer she kept in the pocket of her floral duster. Pushing her glasses up on her forehead, she peered through the peephole to see who it was before undoing the multiple locks on the door. Miss Pat snatched the door open and immediately tore into the young man standing on the other side. What you knocking on this door for, little nigga? She tapped her foot impatiently, waiting for him to answer. How you doing, Miss Pat? The boy stammered. What is that? Some new slang that y'all kicking these days? Speak English, boy. What the hell you want? The boy looked around cautiously before whispering. I came to get some smoke. Miss Pat's eyes went wide. She peered down the hallways in both directions before snatching the boy by the front of his jacket and pulling him into the apartment. Miss Pat shoved him against the wall and began patting the frightened boy down while Jada looked on in amusement. You the police or something? She ran her hands along his thighs, raising his testicles one too many times. No, ma'am, the boy said, looking at Miss Pat as if she'd lost it. Well, if you ain't the police, then you must be a fool, because everybody knows Miss Pat don't sell weed. I sell advice. I got kind words for $5, sound advice for 10, and a good talking to for 20. Now, if you really in need of help, then you may be interested in the Miss Pat special, where every half hour starts at $50. Miss Pat was talking so fast that the boy looked back at her. What are you, special? What you need, boy? I'll take some sound advice, he said, holding out a $20 bill. Yeah. Miss Pat snatched the money from him. She reached into her duster and gave the boy a $10 bag of weed and a $5 bag. Check it out, youngin'. Since I'm just opening up shop, I'll give you some sound advice. Throw in that kind word and a box of slow death for the 20, and we square, she offered. That works, the boy said eagerly. He'd only intended on spending $10 with Miss Pat, but with cigarettes being almost $10 in the store, he couldn't pass up the play. Miss Pat went to the kitchen and popped open her deep freezer, where there were several cartons of cigarettes packed in with the food. She put one of the frosty packs of cigarettes in his hands, but held it for a minute and looked into his eyes. I'm serving you this time, but if you ever pop at my door again without an invitation, we're liable to have a misunderstanding. She patted the pistol in her duster. You dig? My fault, Miss Pat. I didn't know. He apologized. Don't worry about it, baby. Next time, just hit me on the chirp. Miss Pat waved her boost phone. After giving the boy her information, she ushered him out and relocked the door. Some of these boys ain't got the good sense God gave them when they slid their black asses into the world, Miss Pat said to no one in particular when she came back into the living room. Grandma, you better be easy with having people knock on the door like that. You know we already got issues with the city, Jada reminded her. Miss Pat looked at her seriously. Child, I've been getting it how I live for longer than you or your daddy been alive. So don't come around here trying to tell me how to conduct my business. You hear? And if we got any problems with the city, it's because you brought them here. So don't get me started, Jada Butler. I've been in these projects for 46 years and ain't ever had so much as a complaint filed against me with housing or nobody else. Because there isn't anybody bold enough to want a problem with your crazy self, Jada laughed. Call me what you want, but you won't never call me no punk bitch. I know you looked at your granddaddy and my boys as the heads of the Butler family, but don't forget, it was the Butler women who gave them the power. Jada sucked her teeth. Listen to you, like you were out there popping your guns with the fellas. Not at all, but I was sure the one getting rid of them when they came home dirty. Miss Pat shot back. Before the argument could go any further, the sounds of tiny running feet filled the hallway. 3 faces that looked much like Jada's came rushing into the living room and swarmed her. Mommy! They screamed in unison. Thank the Lord, Miss Pat said under her breath. Jada ignored her grandmother and hugged her kids. Hey, I missed you guys. Jada beamed as she kissed each one of her kids on the forehead. It's hard to tell. When you hang out all night, you would never know that you were a mother, let alone had 3 of these little devils, Miss Pat said. It was true. Jada partied like a rock star, while her kids spent most of their time with Miss Pat or other relatives. It wasn't that she didn't love her kids, but she didn't know any other way to be. She had always watched her mother and father party while leaving her with Miss Pat, so she ended up repeating the cycle with her own kids. Miss Pat was a godsend, as far as keeping the kids out of harm's way. But with all the stuff she had going on out of the house, she hadn't set the best example for her kids either. Where you been, Mommy? We missed you, Jalen asked. She was the middle child and Jada's baby girl. Mommy was out with some friends, Jada told her. Grandma says you were out sacking, Davita capped. She was Jada's oldest, 14 years of pure attitude. What's sacking? Miles asked. He was Jada's youngest, and the one who looked the least like her. Jada cut her eyes at her grandmother, who was going about her ironing as if she hadn't heard a thing. Sacking is just another word for partying, Jada told the little boy. When I get older, I want to go sacking just like Mommy, Jalen said proudly. And I'm sure you will, Miss Pat offered. Okay, you kids go play while Mom gets in the shower. When I come out, I'll make you breakfast, Jada told her. Miss Pat put her iron down again. They had breakfast 30 minutes ago. Y'all kids go and get ready for school. Miss Pat shooed them out. I'm going to wash up. Jada said to no one in particular. Yes, wash them streets off your ass. Jada, don't sneak out of here without coming to talk to me. There are some things I want to say to you. Miss Pat told her. Whatever. Jada shuffled down the hall. She unlocked her bedroom door and slipped inside, peeling her clothes off as she crossed it. She searched high and low for her lavender Donna Karan bathrobe, but couldn't find it anywhere. Tiring of looking for it, she wrapped a beach towel around herself and headed to the bathroom for her shower, only to find it occupied. Miss Pat was in the kitchen, and her kids were gone, so she knew it had to be one of the wayward freeloaders that her grandmother couldn't help taking in ever so often. Jada banged on the door like the police, and it was almost a full 5 minutes before she finally heard the lock being undone. She drew her lips back, prepared to black out on whoever had been hogging the bathroom, but her jaw dropped when she saw who it was. He had put on some weight since the last time she saw him, but he still had that same scurvy hunch to his back, like he was always skulking. A green do-rag was tied on his head, with the flap hanging down his neck. Draped over his wet and naked body was Jada's Donna Karan robe. Oh, hell no! Jada placed her hands on her hips. When he smiled, the bathroom light glistened off the gold tooth in the front of his mouth. What's the matter, baby girl? Ain't you glad to see your Uncle Mookie? If you looked up the word goon in the dictionary, you would see a picture of Uncle Mookie, beaming like a kid at graduation. Morris Butler, aka Mookie, was the second oldest of Ms. Pat's sons, and by far the biggest headache to fall off the Butler tree. He wasn't the largest man, standing at 5'8" and weighing a shade less than 180 pounds, but his appetite for destruction was enormous. Mookie was a shifty man who was quick to violence and only played for keeps. Had it not been for Mookie's violent temper, he might have actually been somebody in the streets, but he couldn't stay out of jail. Since he was a kid, Mookie had loved to fight and stay in the mix. Beef was his drug of choice, and he looked for any excuse to get high. When Jada's father was on the streets hustling, Uncle Mookie and his crime partner Fish had been right there in the trenches with him, dispatching enemies of the Butler family and intimidating other dealers in the area. When Jada's father was sentenced, it fell to Mookie to keep the operation going. But with his poor head for business, it was only a matter of time before the well went dry. With his meal ticket gone, Mookie did what to him was the most logical thing. Picked up his pistol and robbed everything moving. Mookie and Fish hit the streets with a vengeance and demanded that all the dealers who now got money in what was once Butler territory paid a street tax to keep doing business. The smart ones paid, and the not so smart wound up in the trunks of cars or local emergency rooms. It got so bad that the only time the dealers could get money untaxed was the period of time between Mookie's and Fish's prison stints. Somebody must have left a monkey cage open at the zoo. Jada snaked her neck and looked her uncle up and down. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were happy to see me. Mookie bopped out of the bathroom. Mookie, if your ass escaped from jail again, you better get out of here. I got kids in this house and an ACS investigation going on, so I don't need the police kicking Grandma's door in. Mookie sucked his teeth. Ain't nobody escaped from nowhere. I'm out on work release, so I swung by Ma's to take a shower. And what the hell do you mean you got an ACS case pending? Jada, don't make me fuck you up for beating my nieces and nephews all extra and shit. Please, ain't nobody beating these badass kids, even though I should for all the hell they give me. One of these hating ass bitches was trying to be funny and called them on me. That's my word. When I find out who it was, I'ma slay one of these hoes. Mookie shook his head. Just like a butler, always ready to kick ass first and take names later. You're one to talk. Jada rolled her eyes. If I recall correctly, the last charge you called was for assault. Mookie downplayed it. That wasn't nothing but a little misunderstanding. You call putting 42 stitches in someone's head a misunderstanding? Hey, if he hadn't pulled that pistol on me, I wouldn't have had to clobber his ass with it. The little niggas of this generation have a serious lack of respect for the OGs. What the fuck ever, Uncle Mookie? And why do you have your jailhouse ass in my robe? You know how much that shit costs? Mookie sucked his teeth. Alright, don't get your drawers in a bunch. He slipped out of the robe and stood in the hallway as naked as the day he was born. I'm done with it anyway. He tossed it to her and shuffled down the hall, leaving Jada holding the damp robe with a disgusted look on her face. Chapter 5. Of course it would have been too much to ask for Mookie to have washed the tub, after wringing it with God only knew how many days' worth of street soot. Cursing under her breath, Jada washed the tub and opted for a quick shower instead of the long soak she'd planned. Even after scrubbing the tub thoroughly, the memory of the dirt ring soured her on the idea. Moving as quietly as she could so the kids and her grandmother wouldn't notice her, Jada slipped into her room and locked the door behind her. She tossed the towels she'd been forced to wrap herself in into the corner and stretched out naked on her bed, praying for the sleep that had eluded her during her binge. No sooner than her eyelids began to drop, her bedroom phone rang. Jada snatched the phone up and answered with attitude. Yeah? Thieving ass bitch, you gonna get just what your hand calls for, a muffled voice said on the other end. Eat a dick and die. Jada slammed the phone down. She had started receiving the disturbing phone calls about a week or so prior, not long after her last blow-up with Miles's father, Cuddy, over some missing money. Even though the argument had happened weeks prior, she still remembered his sharp words, as if he had just said them. She had been ducking Cuddy's phone calls for more than a week, but he had caught her out there that time by having someone call her on three-way. The moment she had heard his gruff voice come over the phone, an icy finger ran down her back. "What the fuck's poppin', Jada?" "Damn, hello to you too," she said sarcastically. "Yo, now ain't the time for your fucking mouth, P. I've been trying to track you down for over a week and couldn't get through. What the fuck did you get that extra line installed for if you ain't gonna be around to answer it?" "My fault, I've been busy." "So busy that you forgotten the ones who've taken care of you?" He shot back. Jada looked at the phone as if she had just heard him wrong. "Cuddy, don't come at me with that jailhouse bullshit because I've been taking care of me and these kids since you left. I've got a massive headache right now, so please don't add to it. If you stayed in the house instead of running out boozing all night, then you might not have this problem." "Cuddy, I don't know who you've got on the line that you're trying to impress, but knock it the fuck off." Jada cacked. Cuddy laughed. "Apparently, you must have forgotten who I am." Cuddy was one of the fallen legends of Douglas Projects. Before the same streets they praised decided to betray them, Cuddy, Rio, and Shamel had been like the holy trinity of the crack game. But even the best runs come to an end. Cuddy received 25 to life, but he got off easy compared to his comrades. Shamel had fallen in the line of duty, and Rio fed himself a bullet after the accidental death of his girlfriend. There had been a number of heirs to the projects to come after them, but none were as well remembered as the trio. "Ain't nobody forgot nothing, Cuddy, but you can't eat a memory," Jada shot back. "See, you gonna make me say some shit to you over this phone that might give me another charge." "As if it would make a difference," Jada mumbled. "What happened to that thing you were supposed to do for me? You were supposed to help my man's sister so you could settle." "Dad, I had to go to Davita's school. I tried to hit Shorty back to reschedule. I kept getting a voicemail. I'll get around to it." She said it as if it was nothing. "Jada, you know better than to come at me with that bozo shit. I'm in prison, not the streets. You can't really promise a nigga something in here and not come through. Behind the wall, all you got is your word, and Cuddy's word is his bond." "Sorry," she mumbled. "So I'm noticing. You're not only sorry, Jada, but you're trifling too." "What kind of bullshit are you talking about now?" "I'm talking about after I couldn't get you on the line, I had my mom go to the stash account to take care of it for me." Jada was shocked. "Your mother? I know you didn't let your mama have access to our bank account." "My bank account, and yes, I did." "What you thought? I was gonna jam myself by only allowing you to have access?" Cuddy laughed. "This ain't casino, baby, and you ain't Ginger." "Cuddy, that's some real shady shit to say," Jada told him. "Nah, what's shady is the punchline of this fucked up ass joke. My mom said that account is short." "Cuddy, I know that money is only supposed to be for emergencies, but I had to tap it to take care of a few things. Welfare don't hardly give you enough to make ends meet. Just last week, I had to go to building 55 and..." "Jada, if you say one more thing other than the truth, as God is my witness, I'm gonna reach through this phone and rip your fucking lips off." He cut her off. "I'm missing almost $20,000 and I wanna know where the fuck it is." Jada was speechless at first. She had been tapping into money here and there, but she hadn't expected the tally to be so high. "Cuddy, your mother must have it wrong because..." she began, but he cut her off again. "Jada, you're already insulting my intelligence, so please don't insult my mother too. The bottom line is that I want to know where my money is. And if you can't tell me that, then you need to tell me how you plan to put it back." "Nigga, I know you ain't trying to call me no thief." Jada got indignant as she tried to spin a plausible lie in her head that would explain where the money had gone. "I ain't trying to tell you shit. What I am telling you is that if you don't produce my bread, immediately, me and you gonna have a problem, bitch." "Hold the fuck on. Who do you think you're talking to?" "I'm talking to the trifling cunt that my dumbass trusted with my life and my kid," he raged. "Fuck you. Your mama's a cunt, cockeyed old bitch," Jada yelled back. "Jada, I don't know what the fuck you out there doing with my bread, but you better give me back what belongs to me or you're gonna be the sorriest black bitch in Harlem," Cuddy warned her. "I know you ain't trying to send no threats this way like I'm some punk bitch." Jada's tone darkened. "Cuddy, you know how the butlers give it up, so please don't take it there." "Shorty, the way I feel right now, everybody in your house who didn't come out of my nuts can get it." Jada was hurt by the way he was speaking to her, but she wouldn't give him the satisfaction of showing it. "I hear you talking gangster. When I was running around out here for you making moves and sucking your dick on the dance floor, I was your lifeline. And now you talking to me like I'm just some bitch you fucking? We're gonna see how tough you talk when it's all said and done." Jada's mind immediately went to the shopping spree she was going to go on with what was left of Cuddy's money. Cuddy laughed. Bitch, I know you like I know my own dick, so you can rule out the petty-ass bank robbery in your head. I already had my mom remove your name from the account, and my little mans and them from BK know not to put another dime in your hands. The ride is over, boo. So this how you gonna do it, Cuddy? You just gonna leave me and the kids out here with nothing? Jada was emotional. My kid is gonna be straight. My mother is petitioning for custody, so you should be getting the paperwork any day now. So how am I supposed to get by? The tears had escaped and were streaking her cheeks. Get by on that punk-ass 20,000 you stole, whore. If you need to get your ones up, then here's a thought for you. Why don't you stop giving that washed-up pussy away so freely and try selling it? It was a low blow, and they both knew it. With that statement, Jada knew that it was the end of her and Cuddy. That's some cold-blooded shit, but I should have expected as much from a low-life convict like you. But that's all right, Cuddy. You gonna rue the day you crossed a bitch like me. Trust me, I already do. Outside of my money and my son, we ain't got shit to talk about. Get my money, Jada. Well, here's a thought for you, Cuddy. The night you got fall down drunk and me and JC had to carry you home, not only did I fuck him in your bed while you were laying there sleeping, I sucked his dick and let him come in my mouth. See you in 25 years, ass pirate. She ended the call. Jada had always considered herself one of the coldest young chicks in the streets, but she had always had a tender heart for Cuddy. A heart that had been stomped into pieces. True, she was guilty of tapping his bank account and skimming a little of what he had coming in, but Jada felt like she was entitled to it. When Cuddy got knocked and everyone kept living their lives, Jada put hers on hold to ride with her baby daddy. From risking her freedom by visiting him with a vagina full of heroin, to bleeding other dudes so they could eat. And now he wanted to cast her aside like trash. With having the financial rug pulled from under them, a lesser broad would have fallen apart. But Jada was a butler, and it would take more than idle threats for a dude doing 2 decades to break her spirit. Fuck it. Jada pushed the memories from her mind and nestled into her covers to get some long overdue sleep. No sooner did her eyes close than her cell phone rang. Without even looking to see who it was, she flipped the phone open, prepared to get her spaz on, but the anger drained away when she heard who was on the other end. Oh shit. What up, Coochie? Chapter 6. When Arthur Weiss lifted his head from his desk, he looked like he had been hitting his face with a ball of flour. His cheeks and nose were a ruddy shade to match his heavily veined eyes. On his cluttered desk, there was a hand mirror smeared with cocaine. As he peered down at his chalky reflection in the mirror, he didn't see the successful attorney who had fought his way up the ladder into his own lucrative private practice. He saw the monster his greed had made him. From the time when he worked as a legal aid in Manhattan Criminal Court, Arthur had made a name for himself as an attorney who would go above and beyond his pursuit to win a case. Unlike some of his colleagues, Arthur didn't care to barter with the prosecution for reduced sentences. There was no money in that. Arthur knew to stick for the long bread, he had to make a name for himself as a shark, and only then would he be able to crawl out of the shitty position he was in. It didn't take long for Arthur's name to be circulated among the career criminals he helped beat the system. And they all came to Arthur when they got in a jam and needed someone to look the other way. When he was able to establish his own practice, clients flocked to him like disciples, and carrying cash in barrels for his services. The lifestyle that his clients led was so enticing to him that he often found himself letting his career and personal life overlap. You can often find Arthur in the back of the club, popping bottles with notorious killers and bosses. He quickly became one of the darlings of the underworld and reveled in the adoration he got from some of the ghetto's most powerful organizations. For as sweet as the life was for him, Arthur was mortal, and therefore subject to the larcenies that lurk in the hearts of men. Arthur got greedy, and instead of doing his job, he just collected money. Even if Arthur knew he couldn't win the case, he would feed the clients false hope just to get their money, and march them to their demise with a straight face. Quite a few of his former clients didn't take kindly to being railroaded, and had promised to settle up with Arthur. But he knew none of them were stupid enough to actually touch a lawyer as high-profile as Weiss. His biggest headaches were coming from the state, thanks to a sour client and some sloppy money laundering. Arthur's life was slowly becoming a shitstorm, and he was standing in the middle of it with a broken umbrella. When Arthur heard his door click open unexpectedly, he jumped out of his seat and knocked over his coffee on the brief that had been sitting on his desk. Arthur was so focused on saving what little bit of cocaine he had left that he had the mirror held up in plain sight when his assistant walked in. She was a pretty young brown-skinned girl with bright eyes and a nice shape. Jesus, what the hell are you doing just busting in here like that? I told you to cancel my appointments for the day. I don't want to see any more clients. He barked on her. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out as fear had made her mute. When Arthur saw the shadows materialize behind her, he knew just what her fear was like, because it crept into his heart too. I'm not a client. I'm the bitch you've been fucking for the last 6 months. Don B walked in, draped in black leather and heavy jewels. He was flanked by several hard-faced men wearing murderous scowls. Don B was anything but your typical rags to riches story. He had once been a ghetto superstar, handpicked and tutored by the old kings of Harlem, and on the fast track to being the next hood legend. He was a natural hustler, but more importantly, he had a sharp mind. Don B had seen the writing on the wall and knew that he could only bleed the streets for so long before they eventually bled him. So he set his sights on music and started Big Dog Entertainment, and the wheels of fate were set in motion. Seemingly overnight, he watched Big Dog go from a startup company to one of the most successful labels in the music industry. From the hottest upcoming rappers to R&B veterans, Big Dog had it all. But nothing was without its price, which Don B would learn over the years. True, Ja, Payne, Lex. The list went on so long that many of them had become little more than nameless faces. But the Don remained, and so the show would go on. What's up, Don? I didn't see you on my calendar for today. Is everything cool? Arthur asked nervously. Don B stepped forward and stared at Arthur from behind his black shades. He ran his finger across the saucer, then over his gums, pausing for a minute to feel the potency. No, everything ain't, motherfucker. I don't appreciate being fucked unless you're a bitch that throws it like a porn star. Are you a porn star, Arthur? Because you surely fucked me. Listen, if this is about that little thing with the guy Harold, I promise you that I'm working on it, brother. Arthur gave him a dopey smile. Without warning, Don B smacked the cocaine-coated mirror from Arthur's hand. First of all, I ain't your fucking brother, cracker. And second of all, you're a damn liar. You took my bread and left my little nigga Fully for dead. During the production of the Left Coast's second album, Fully had gone out drinking with some of the homies and gotten into a fight with some guys at a bar. He hit one of the guys with a bottle and disfigured him. The situation looked bad for Fully, but Weiss had promised to get him off for the right price. Desperate to get the album finished, Don B went against the advice of his regular attorney and paid Arthur $500,000 to get it done. In the end, Fully ended up blowing trial and getting a flat 12 instead of the 6 to 9 the DA initially offered. Arthur adjusted his tie nervously. John, that wasn't my fault. It was that cunt of a judge and rotten luck. What are the odds that her son was killed 5 years ago by the same gang Fully belonged to? She had a hard-on for the guy from the time she read his jacket. It was out of my hands. Of course, because you needed your hands free to take my money, you fucking crook. Don B snapped. Hey, now that's not true. Don, I fought my ass off for Fully. And when I blew it, I accepted responsibility for it and gave you a discount to get his appeal done. I know you're salty because it's taking so long, but these things take time with the red tape and all, you know? Yeah, we know all about tape. Don B nodded to one of his henchmen, who produced a roll of duct tape. Weiss, I may be a lot of things, but I ain't no fool. You never filed Fully's appeal because you knew he couldn't win the damn case in the first place. Now I gave you a half a ticket for the case. And if you stack that on top of the appeal you never filed for and add interest, it puts you into me for about $1 million and change. Do you have my money? Come on, Don. You know me. We go back. Listen, on my mother's eyes, I put that paperwork in. I can even show you the email confirming it. Arthur went to turn his computer monitor around, but Don B stopped him. That's not what I asked you, Don B said coldly. Arthur looked from the man holding the duct tape and smiling menacingly back to Don B and swallowed the lump in his throat. Don, I didn't steal from you, man. I swear to Christ. Okay. If you want to work something out, I've got $50,000 in my desk drawer, and I can get you a little more in a few days. Let's say I kick you back the bread you gave me on the appeal and we're square, huh? Don B removed his shades and glared at Arthur. I gave you $1 million, which is what I expect back. Don, let's be reasonable about this. We're friends, for Christ's sake. Arthur began, but was cut off when Don B stuck a gun in his belly. Friends don't fuck friends, Arthur. Don B waved his men forward. Arthur struggled with everything he had, but he was no match for the thugs who used the duct tape to bind him, stomach down across his desk. Using 2 pairs of handcuffs, they clamped Arthur's ankles to the legs of the desk, forcing him to have to lie with his ass up. Don, what the hell are you doing, man? Arthur struggled to crane his neck so he could see the men over his shoulder. It's like I said, kid. Friends don't fuck friends. But when you took my bread, that ended our friendship. Don B hooked his thumbs through the belt loops and gave Arthur a look that made his blood run cold. When Arthur started to get the picture, he began thrashing wildly, trying to get free of the tape. Wait, you're going too far, Don B. I know I'm in the wrong because I owe you money, but this is fucked up on so many levels. Don B frowned. Arthur, you got me twisted. The Don only indulges in pussy. I don't play them games you hitting at. Hearing this made Arthur breathe a sigh of relief, but it was a short-lived moment. when he heard Don B's voice again. "Yo, Herc," Don B called over his shoulder. All 350 pounds of Herc lumbered forward, licking his lips at the sight of Arthur, bound and helpless. "Herc, until this piece of shit pays what he owes, he's property of Big Dog. Enjoy, my nigga." Don B patted Herc on the back and headed for the office door. Devil grabbed the secretary by the arm and followed. "Don, you can't do this to me! This is inhumane!" Arthur shouted over the sounds of his pants and underwear being ripped. Don B stopped and looked over his shoulder. "Nah, this is the game you chose to play." Don B and Devil escorted the secretary into the reception area, leaving Herc and whoever else stayed behind to their devices. The girl was sobbing uncontrollably because she knew after what she had witnessed, there was no way they would let her live. Devil went around the girl's desk and retrieved her purse from the floor. He fumbled around inside until he came up holding her driver's license and a picture of her kids. He ran his thumb across the image of her teenage daughter and licked his chops. "What you see, baby?" He addressed her coolly. "I didn't see nothing. I swear, I didn't," she said between sobs. Don B pondered her answer for what seemed like an eternity before giving Devil the nod to cut her loose. "Come here, shorty." Don B waved her over. The secretary took timid steps towards Don B, keeping her eyes glued to the ground. "Look at me." He forced her face up. In his hands, he held a thick roll of money. He placed the money into her trembling hands along with a slip of paper that had a number scribbled on it. "Take a few days and get your shit right, Ma. Use that number if you want a real job, you dig?" The girl was too frightened to answer, so she just nodded dumbly and scurried out. "How you gonna scare a chick shitless and then offer her a job?" Devil asked after the girl had gone. Don B smirked at him. "I was feeling kind. Besides, if I get her on the payroll, I stand a better chance to sample that sweet little ass. Did you see the body on that bitch?" The two of them laughed so hard at Don B's twisted humor that they had almost forgotten that they were at the scene of a crime. That changed when they heard Arthur's high-pitched squeal coming from the next room. Don B led his entourage out of the plush Fifth Avenue building as if they totally belonged, dressed in baggy jeans and jewelry. Devil drove Don B in his Durango, while Herc and the rest of the soldiers rode in the minivan. On the way to their vehicles, they drew the occasional stare from the business types they passed, but one set of eyes lingered on them longer than anyone else's. Hatred swelled behind the eyes, and it took everything the Watcher had not to move on Don B right then and there, but the Watcher was patient. The Watcher had waited years to settle up with Don, so a few more days wouldn't change what was coming. Only when the men had climbed back into their vehicles and pulled off did the Watcher take his eyes off the entourage. "You never cease to amaze me with the levels of stupid shit you choose to pull," Devil told Don B once they were safely away from the scene. "The plan was for us to come down here and maybe smack Arthur around a little to get him to pay back the money he owed. You never said nothing about no funny ass rape shit." "Sometimes plans change, my nigga," Don B said as if it was nothing. "Yeah, I should have known something was funny when you insisted on bringing Herc and the rest of them ass pirates along. My nigga Arthur Weiss is a scumbag, but he's still a fucking lawyer. We might have been able to get away with beating his ass, but there's no way in hell this shit is gonna ride." "Sure it is. To a man like Arthur, money is more precious than his pride. If he gives up what happened, then all his shady shit comes to light, and that's the end of his career and his lifestyle. Nah, he ain't gonna say shit." "I guess you got it all figured out, huh?" "Don't I always? That's why I'm the Dom, and these niggas are soldiers," Don B said smugly. His statement wasn't directed to a devil, but the truth in it still stung a bit. Now on to the next order of business. Did Animal make his flight? Devil shrugged. "You said he would, but the plane landed hours ago. I still ain't heard from him." "See, this is the problem when you're dealing with these Rain Man-ass niggas. He knows we got a lot going on, and his ass is MIA again. That's my word, B. If this nigga ain't on deck for the session I booked for him and Chip, we gonna have an issue." "Yeah, right," Devil laughed. "You talk that shit now, but I know you're lying. Animal done put so much bread in your pocket, I'm surprised you ain't never tried to kiss the nigga on the mouth. Pause." Don B chuckled. "Shit, that crazy motherfucker is hella talented. He's just weird as hell. Did Shawn ever call you back and confirm our appointment with old boy?" "Yeah, she said he griped about you wanting to do another walkthrough, but eventually saw it our way and agreed. Fucking right he did, for as much bread I already got on this shit. Just the licenses alone cost me a grip. Selling them really fucked that club up. I don't even want to talk about the back taxes." Don B massaged his temples. "It's gonna take some work, but I know I can bring the view back. Zone might be dead, but Code Red is gonna be alive and kicking come the grand reopening." Code Red was Don B's latest venture. The Midtown Club had several different names, but the most recent within the Zone. cat Sal, who had bought the spot, had champagne dreams with beer money. The zone had gotten off to a good start, but it wasn't long before Sal's poor business moves had him spending more than
Tashiana, what's
Sal had
happening?
lost everything, and the city was about to seize the place before friends
Appreciate the love, young lady.
It was only supposed to be a loan until Sal got on his feet. But when Don B saw the potential of the place, he muscled his way.
Everything been good
Just like
with you
that,
trucking out
Sal
here?
now had a partner and his club a new name, Code Red. Devil shook his head. Don, I still can't believe you went through with it. That spot ain't jumped like that in damn near 10 years. How do you figure you could do what the last 5 owners haven't been able to? Don B just smiled. Because I'm the Don. Now let's go see a man about club. By the time Don B and his entourage pulled up on the corner of 96 in Amsterdam, Sal was already standing outside the spot. Sal looked like he was snatched from the cast of some B-rated mob movie, dressed in a salmon-colored jogging suit and white sneakers. He was a sour-looking Italian man.
Oh man.
And a plump red
Prayers up for our sister Tashiana. 100% recovery. 100% recovery. Prayers up for you in Jesus' name. God be with her. Clean all that off the lungs.
John, I swear you're the biggest ball buster I know. We've gone over this stuff.
Take it easy, sister. Take it easy.
I don't see why I gotta rush out of my kid's basketball game to do this shit again. Sal said,
Man's trying to find him some food, man. I'm trying to.
Don B told Sal and brushed past
The
her. The outside
restaurant.
code red was made of black one-way glass, allowing the partygoers to see out, but keeping those outside the club blind for what was going on inside. That had been Don B's first decree when he came on board. Inside was a buzz of activity with contractors, electricians, and delivery men moving every which way in preparation for Don B's party. The event was
Nah, for real.
what Don B had planned.
Definitely want to see you, you know what I'm saying?
Most of it was over the top, but that's how Don B wanted it. Code Red was to be his new
Say the roughest nerfs ever, huh? I seen you talking about you bored in the back.
Looks good, man.
Hey, at least you can keep the brother up and entertain. That's the least you could do.
It was the longest of the 3, which would serve the patrons of Code Red.
While you nurse, you know what I'm saying, nurse you back to health and drive you down the
Sal
road.
said, looking at his watch. The cases of liquor will be delivered tomorrow, and I've already confirmed with the caterer that the food will be here the morning.
Can't find your nurse.
Satisfied?
You can't find that everywhere. A nurse and a driver? Can't find that everywhere.
Yeah, I got some guys from my brother-in-law's company to handle the basics.
It's almost like a
few friends of
MacGyver.
mine will also be here to handle any potentially messy situations.
Oh man, y'all ain't no food around here. Might as well keep rolling. I'm finna take a nap. Man, might as well keep rolling. Thought we had done made it. I thought we made it to some food. There's no food there.
Don B looked at Devil, who produced an envelope from his pocket and handed it to him. Don B extended the envelope to Sal, but held it short of his greedy mitts. So this ensures we ain't gonna have no problems with the police guy. Don B, I told you the guy who set it up is a friend of ours. So why are you so fucking paranoid? Sal, there's a difference between paranoid and careful. Don has many enemies on the streets.
Yeah, you can't find your nurse and your driver. Yeah, you'll be sick with nobody to drive you.
Now that'll be all. You guys get out of here so my people can work. And I might be able to get back to my
Stop right here, right now.
Not that I ain't gonna have to hear my wife about me running out for the rest of the night. Yeah, go handle your business. But that's a move to make too, Johnson said. And let Devil back on time. This joint is looking kind of sexy, kid. Devil hugged Don B playfully as they walked. Yeah, that's why I'm being so meticulous about this whole thing. Son, niggas hated on
Keep it moving, man. Ain't no food. Let's keep it moving.
His gloves are with somewhere else with you. Large I get, the more malicious game. I'm trying to avoid breaking laws. Smell me. Who the fuck is Murphy? Doctor gave Devil to me, bro. It's a saying.
Alright, you gotta give me a minute to catch that one. I had no clue. Give me a minute. Just trying to get to where the food at. It was out here somewhere. Gotta get some good eats. We don't got time to cook up nothing right now. Gotta get it and go.
Remo had to really let himself go.
For real, I hope you feel better though, young lady. Hope you feel better.
The past few nights. His normally clean-shaven head is now covered in tight clumps of knotted hair. It had been a while since his face had seen a razor. When Remo smiled and showed his teeth that had begun to rot, Devil felt like his heart shattered in his chest.
Yeah, Dave, you slipping. I could have laid both of y'all down and been in the wind before you threw that rod.
Remo said jovially.
What, you just gonna stand there gawking and give me some love?
Devil managed to snap out of it and embrace his old friend. Remo smelled like he hadn't washed in a few days, with The devil didn't shy away. Damn, it's good to see you, homie. It's good to be seen. You know, it ain't too many of the old crew left, Remo said. His eyes drifted toward Don B, who was standing off to the side, scowling at him. What's good, nephew? Remo spread his arms. What's up? Don B replied dryly and gave him that. Remo eyed him suspiciously. I swear, boy, you and your daddy always did know how to hold grudges better than anybody else in the family. Family? Don B snorted. Now that's a word niggas use way too freely. Remo couldn't mask the hurt in his eyes. Don, I know you're salty with me because I fucked up. But your uncle is pulling it together. That's why I came down here to see you. Is that right? Don B asked in a very uninterested tone. Yeah, man, I heard through the grapevine that you got this big event lined up, and I wanted to help you out. Maybe do some security work for your nephew. I don't know if that'll be such a good idea, Remo. Come on, Don. You know ain't nobody ever watched your back as good as me and Devil when I was still rolling with y'all. Just give me a chance to prove myself. I did give you a chance to prove yourself, and you proved unworthy. I can't trust my life to a crackhead. Is that all I am to you now? Remo asked emotionally. Don B, when you was out there handing out CDs and getting kicked out of clubs, I was the one holding you down.
No problem, no pressure.
These cats you was taking to running around with who praise you like you some damn pagan god. You're right. But you fucked up what we had when you decided that your habits and these bitches came before business. Don B took his shades off and looked his uncle directly in the eyes. Remo, your fam, so I'll always love you. But I can't fuck with you. Don B said sadly and walked off. Don! Devil called after him, but Remo stopped him. Fuck it. Let him go. Remo said from his ashy cheek. Remo, let me try to talk to him, okay? Nah, Devil. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I ain't gonna keep you cause I know you got stuff to do. It was good seeing you though, family. Remo hugged his partner. Devil took all the money he had in his pocket and placed it in Remo's hands. Remo, you know that whenever you're ready to come in out of the cold, I'm here for you. Devil, your heart is now and forever will be in the right place. So you'll always be my brother. Your man, though. He scoffed and pointed at Don B. He's got to learn about this here game. The faster you go up, the harder your black ass is gonna land when it falls from grace. Long after Don B and Devil pulled off, Remo was still standing on the curb looking down at the toes of his scuffed boots. He had come to Don B almost on his knees, only to be brushed to the side like someone who had had nothing to do with building Big Dog Entertainment. Don B, playing him off like a comic book, not only hurt Remo, but made him bitter. He stopped seeing his nephew as the little boy he had helped sculpt, and saw him as just another perpetrating-ass cat who needed their ghetto pass revoked. What up, big homie? A voice called from behind Remo, startling him. He cautiously started backing away as he didn't recognize the heavily tinted Acura sitting on shiny chrome rims. It's me, son. The driver rolled the window down. Shit, youngin', don't you know better than to be rolling up all suspect and shit? Remo capped as he ambled over to the car. I heard you was dead. Nah, I ain't dead. I'm just keeping a low profile after that thing, know me? But fuck all that. I got something lined up that you might be able to help me with, if you still bout your cheese. The driver popped open a suitcase full of money that was on the passenger seat. With that kind of paper, I'd tear a nigga's head off, Remo said hungrily. Glad to hear it. Get in the car and let's take a little ride while we talk. Chapter 7. Tiana took a long gulp of air when she ascended from the train station on 96th and Broadway. It was about 1,000 degrees beneath the streets of New York, but it was one of the fastest ways to travel if you didn't have a ride. She had been spending a lot of time on the subway lately, but didn't think she'd ever get used to it. How she longed for the days of hopping in and out of foreign cars, but she knew those days were over, at least until she found another come-up. Once upon a time, Tiana had been regarded as royalty in Harlem. She was thick in all the right places, with flawless chocolate skin and silky black hair that hung down her back. Every cat holding a few dollars was checking for her, but she belonged to Duhan. Since they were teenagers, they had been dating on and off, even had 2 sons together. Duhan was on the fast track to stardom, and she was at his side for the entire ride. Duhan was a sure bet to be a boss, but jealousy and the government threw a monkey wrench in his plans and hit him with 5 to life on a trumped-up kingpin charge. With Duhan out of the picture and no real means to support herself, Tiana wound back on the block with her old friends and up to new tricks. For a minute, it seemed like Tiana was returning to her former glory, but as they said, what's done in the dark always comes to the light. In the end, Tiana's ways had cost her Duhan. and her last apartment. A mysterious fire had broken out that claimed everything she owned except the clothes on her back. Thankfully, no one had been home at the time of the fire, but Tiana found herself completely assed out and back to square one. She knew who had been the catalyst for both, but had only herself to blame for even allowing herself to get caught slipping. It was a mistake. She had no intention of thinking twice. The months that followed were rough for Tiana. Her best friend Gucci's mother had let Tiana and the kids stay with her while Section 8 tried to find her another apartment. But that situation turned out to be a crazy one. Ms. Ronnie was cool, but she had too many damn rules for Tiana's taste. So it was a blessing when Tiana got a letter about her new place. Tiana had initially thought the apartment would be in some renovated building, like the one she had just been burnt out of. But it was actually in a nice section of Manhattan that boasted easy access and a great school system. On her way up from the train station, she grabbed 2 bags of pip from some of the local corner boys. Their haze wasn't the best in the world, but it was way better than anything else within a 10-block radius.
And I don't know if that's you, Tatiana, but the topic and the title, that was like at the beginning of the screen. But yeah, that topic was kind of crazy to me. I was just, having a couple conversations with a couple drivers, having a conversation with a couple drivers, and we was talking about how, how families used to have like so many kids, like how y'all having 10 kids, how y'all having 12 and 13 kids, like one family. And, it'll be like 10, 13 kids in this one family, and they'll be like, granddaddy had a whole nother family with 6 other kids somewhere else. It's like, what the hell, right? But let's just say it's like 12 kids, so 6 of them might be granddaddies, 3 of them he think he is, and 3 of them each got their own daddy. That's what we were saying, like, grandma used to be doing her thing too, though, like, you bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's 12 kids. 6 on granddaddy think is his. Right? No. We say 9 on the 12 kids. So 9 on 6 and 9. Let's just say 9 on to give granddaddy the most of them. 9 of them he think is his. 3 of them is really not. And grandma know it. Okay, so that's 9. So you got 10, 11, 12. And then the other 3 each got their own daddy. So that's why we were saying, like, everybody always talking about what granddaddy did. Nobody talks about what grandma did. Grandma was a little thought pocket. She was a little thought pocket a little bit. You feel me? She let niggas shoot that shit up. She like to get another man. You feel me? She having them baby bite. Like they was in the Bible or something. But that was this topic of this. We weren't putting grandma down on that. We were just saying she did her thing too. Like grandma little ass was sneaky too, little can of oil and shit.
As much dirt as she did, she could be so lucky. When the building formerly known as Westside Manor was sold, the new owners jacked the rent for new tenants to 10 times what the old ones were paying. A good amount of the residents had inherited apartments from their parents or grandparents, but every new tenant had to pay the piper unless they managed to hit the mega ball. The mega ball was a lottery the city forced the marquee to hold every few years that gave government-assisted tenants a shot at getting into the building. Because of the circumstances surrounding how Tiana had lost her apartment, they made an exception to the rule and gave her a 2-bedroom that had just been vacated. As soon as Tiana touched the foyer of the lobby, the security guard, Angel, buzzed her in. He was a handsome Puerto Rican kid who wore his hair in a low cut that he kept freshly shaped. Angel was a good dude who had run into some less than favorable luck and ended up... Angel was easygoing. Tenants were doing something to put his job in jeopardy. You were cool. What is it, ma? Angel greeted Tiana when she crossed the threshold. Chillin', just getting in from work. Tiana replied. Yo, how is that shit for you? Working at a law firm and all? I know you 411 on a lot of shit. It ain't even that serious, Angel. I just answer the phones and do a little filing. I do my job and come home, period, Tiana said. She had been working at the law firm of Gould and Silva for over a year and still didn't know everyone there by name. I still wouldn't mind being a fly on the wall for one of those crazy motherfuckers who roll through there. I hear the broad specialty is castrating niggas, Angel half joked. Marlene isn't that bad. She's just good at what she does, Tiana defended her boss. She really thought Marlene to be too uptight, but she had to admire her. Here was a woman who had managed to claw her way up and managed to become a successful attorney. Gould and Silva practiced a variety of law, but their specialty was divorce. Marlene was like a freak of nature when it came to making sure her clients left their spouses with nothing. Some said that she was a scorned lover seeking to take her revenge out on all men, But whatever her motivation, you couldn't deny the fact that Marlene Silva was one of the best at what she did. It was even said that on more than one occasion, Marlene had reduced abusive husbands to tears in open court. Tiana figured if she could muster up a fraction of
I eat, and then at the last minute want to try to find some food. Like, all right, let me see if I can find something to eat. Right at the time when everything closing. Crazy ass truck drivers.
Damn, T, I wasn't looking for the cross-examination. You're starting to sound like your boss. Nah, I ain't sounding like Marlene. I'm sounding like somebody that's been through it. Angel, when you've given your time and your heart to somebody only to have them pull the plug and leave you with nothing but your sorrows, then we can have this conversation again. Tiana said and headed the elevator. Tiana stepped into her apartment and breathed a sigh of relief. After dealing with the bullshit at Gold and Silva all day, it felt good to be home. The kids were still at school, so she had at least another hour to herself. She planned to roll up a blunt, pour herself a glass of wine, and soak in the tub before she did her homework. Since she had been working at the firm, Tiana had developed a fascination with the law and decided to take some paralegal courses online. There was no way she was going to put it up through 8 more years of school to try for the bar. But with a certificate, she could push for a promotion, or at least a pay raise. She had just kicked her shoes off when someone started ringing the hell out of her doorbell. She cursed under her breath because she just knew it was thirsty-ass Zeta trying to get in on her blunt. She considered ignoring the bell, but Zeta knew she was home because she had just seen her in the store. Tiana decided to just tell Zeta that she didn't want to be bothered and didn't care if she was hurt by it or not. "Hold on a fucking minute," Tiana shouted as the ringing increased. She snatched the door open with a 4-letter word pursed on her lips, but the curse fell away when she saw the dark sunglasses staring back at her. "Why is it that no matter where you live, I have to wait 100 years before you answer the damn door?" Gucci said with a warm smile. Tiana was so overjoyed to see her best friend that the only thing she could do in way of a response was to embrace her. Gucci had always been a pretty girl, but her time away from New York had done her good, and it showed in the subtle glow her skin had picked up. She had put on some weight, all in her hips, from the looks of it, and now wore her hair in a short feathered cut that showed off her face. She was dressed in a black skirt with a low-cut red blouse with a thin black Gucci scarf slung around her neck like she was going skiing. It wasn't cold enough for the scarf, but it looked good with a black and red print Gucci back. Tiana and Gucci had a friendship that went back as far as grade school. When Tiana's mother was off on her drug binges, she often found herself spending the night with Gucci and Miss Ronnie. Unlike the other kids, Gucci never made fun of Tiana having a crackhead for a mother, and always went out of her way to make her feel like family. Gucci was a year or two younger than Tiana, but had an understanding of life that would rival that of a girl twice her age. They were more like sisters than best friends, and you rarely saw one without the other. By the time they hit middle school, the call of the streets was ringing loudly in both their ears. They were both off the hook, but whereas Tiana's mother would let her run wild, Miss Ronnie didn't play that with Gucci. Miss Ronnie gave Gucci enough rope to hang herself, but she always stressed the importance of school. Gucci managed to hang in there long enough to finish high school, but Tiana ended up getting pregnant with little Duhan and ended up dropping out. She eventually went back and got her GED, but she always regretted not being able to walk down the aisle as her friend had. Over the years, Tiana and Gucci still hung out, but Tiana slipped further and further into the role of a kingpin's wife, while Gucci was searching for her own escape from the ghetto. When they closed the curtain on Duhan's movie, Gucci was right there to help Tiana pick up the pieces. It wasn't long before Gucci had her running partner back, and the two girls hit the hood with a vengeance. It was during the brief resurrection when Gucci met Animal, and things began to change. Animal had been a guaranteed case of a kid who wouldn't make it very far into his 20s. The streets knew of him because he was a part of Tech's crew, but they feared him because of his Jones for violence. The letting of blood was like a high for him that he couldn't get enough of, so he let his gun go to feed his habit. Animal was a beast when it came to battle, and even the heaviest hitters in the game didn't want to tangle with him. But the brute was only a portion of who he was. The side that few other than Gucci knew was a compassionate young man with a talent for music. It was because of his talent that he landed a record deal with Big Dog Entertainment and ended up becoming an overnight superstar. His train out of the ghetto had finally come in, but it was an empty moment because he couldn't share it with the people closest to him. China lost her life during their last job, and the police canceled Silk, but Tech was a victim of his own demons. The governing body of the New York underworld decided that Tech's spark was getting too loud and silenced him. The courtship between Gucci and Animal was something no one had expected, especially Tiana. Gucci was someone who didn't give her heart easily, and definitely not so soon. Tiana tried to tell herself and Gucci that it was a phase, but the sparkle in both their eyes whenever she was around them said that it was real. Each of them had found something in the other that they felt was missing in their lives, and they used it as the foundation of their relationship. Gucci always said she wasn't with Animal for his money, but the large black diamonds in her ears said that she was reaping the benefits. "You sneaky heifer! Why didn't you tell me you were flying in?" Tiana rocked back and forth with Gucci still in her arms. Gucci broke the embrace and smoothed over her outfit. "Because if it had been up to you, I'd still be at the airport." "True," Tiana agreed. "So what wind blows your country ass up this way?" Gucci took off her shades so that Tiana could see her brown eyes. First of all, I ain't country. And second of all, the last time I checked, my driver's license said New York State. I can't tell, seeing how you spend more time in Plano than you do in Harlem, Tiana accused. Animal had a cute two-bedroom in a working-class section of town that Gucci shared with him from time to time. See, you of all people should know that my heart is and always will be on 7th Avenue. A bitch is just trying to come up. And speaking of come up, this shit doesn't look like no government-assisted housing to me. Gucci admired Tiana's high-rise apartment. Girl, it was the luck of the draw, literally. Tiana went on to give the short version of how she'd come by the apartment. I swear I didn't know what to do when my crib got burned down, but God had a plan for me. Gucci looked at Tiana suspiciously. I know your ass ain't on no saved shit. Tiana twisted her lip. As much as I love weed and dick, I don't think so. I just know a blessing when I see one. And it's a good thing, too, because if me and my kids had ended up homeless, then Don B's ass would have ended up missing, Tiana said venomously. See, you still running with the theory that Don B was behind your crib getting burned down? It ain't no theory, Gucci, it's a fact. Even if the police are too fucking stupid to figure it out, I know it was Don B, Tiana said, recalling his threat. After their falling out, Tiana threatened to go to the press with a story about Don B taking advantage of her, and he warned her that if she played with fire, she was going to get burnt. She didn't think he meant it literally. They say all is fair in love and war, Gucci teased. Love didn't have anything to do with me fucking Don B. That was about business. Speaking of business, where is that workaholic boyfriend of yours? I haven't seen Animal since the first trip you guys took. Gucci shrugged. Hell if I know. He dropped me off and said that he had something to do. Chapter 8. By the time Honey finished making her rounds to the Jersey Gardens Mall, they were among the last few people there. She went in every store from level X to sales, making purchases as she went. Most of the stuff she bought she didn't really need, but she bought it because she could. That's how it was when your man was Shy Clark, the reigning don of New York City. How many more freaking stores are you gonna go in? Shy asked as Honey stood in front of a lingerie store, having a staring match with the mannequin in the window. He and his best friend, bodyguard, Swan, were sitting in front of the rest area surrounded by dozens of bags. Between Honey and Giselle, they had nearly cleaned them all out. Knock it off, Shy. You know you can't rush perfection, Honey said over her shoulder. She was trying to figure out if the teddy she was staring at went with the red pumps she had in one of her bags. Even after giving birth to her second child, she still boasted a flat stomach and small waist. Men couldn't help but to give her a second look in passing, but they did it at their own risks. In New York, Shy had almost as much authority as the mayor, and he wouldn't hesitate to exercise it to protect what was his. You're rushing her now, but when her ass is prancing around the house in one of those sexy outfits, you'll be glad you waited. Giselle added her 2 cents. She was a pretty Spanish girl who was thick in all the right places. Why don't you mind your business, Giselle? Swan warned. Giselle spun on Swan and snaked her neck when she spoke. Nigga, you better stop talking to me like I'm Mara. Mara was their young daughter. At least she listens. In response, Giselle gave him the middle finger. She and Swan fought like cats and dogs, but there was no mistaking the love hiding behind the insults. They had been together since high school and had 2 kids together. I know one damn thing. You don't hurry your ass up, you're gonna be taking a bus back to New York. Shy threatened. Considering how funny these buses run at this time of night, I'd catch your ride if I was you, shorty. The voice drew all their attention. Animal stepped from behind a kiosk, bringing with him an air of tension. His mane of wild black hair fell around his childlike face, partially obscuring one eye. When he parted his bowed lips to sneer at the startled group, you could see the diamond and gold teeth hiding behind them. Little nigga, you must have lost your last mind rolling on us like this. Swan stepped forward and began reaching for his weapon. He'd taken 2 steps before he felt something pressed into the small of his back. Swan cursed under his breath because he had allowed himself to be caught slipping. Giselle looked at him with pleading eyes, waiting for the signal to pull her .22, but Swan shook his head. He might die, but there was a chance that his lady may live to raise their kids. He turned his head slowly and saw Brosco's scowling face and the shotgun. Ashanti and Nefertiti appeared next, and they too were armed. Animal cast his cold eyes on Swan and grinned ever so slightly. Swan, if you can't count on anything else, you can count on the fact that you and me will butt heads sooner or later. But not right this minute. Now you be cool before I let my young boy push you. He pushed this pussy animal? Come on, man. Brosco was almost pleading. He had a burning hatred for Swan and made no secret of it. Animal studied the scene, and for a minute it almost looked like he was going to let Brosco off Swan. Nah. When and if Swan's number is called, his head belongs to me. I need a few ticks with Shy to discuss more immediate business. Just tell us what you want and get out of here, Honey pleaded. Bitch, did anybody give you permission to speak? Nefertiti barked. Unexpectedly, Animal grabbed Nefertiti by the collar and shook him like a rag doll. You Trump-mouthed little bastard. I should smack your head off your shoulders for disrespecting that man's wife. You've been hiding down the rabbit hole so long that you don't remember the G-code. Apologize. Yo, Animal! Neff began, and Animal shook him more violently. Neff, either you apologize for disrespecting this lady, or we gonna put this meeting on pause while I fuck you up. Animal said seriously. My fault, Nefertiti mumbled. Animal shook his head. And they call me an animal. What do you want, man? Shy asked in a fearless tone. He knew better than to antagonize Animal with him having the advantage, but one thing his father always taught him was to never show fear when facing a war. Animal spread his arms.
Yo.
What any man wants.
God, check these brakes, guys.
I think everyone here knows the reason for my abrupt departure from New York.
Gotta check our brakes, man.
Clear that it's never sat well.
Yeah, we just out here checking brakes and shit. Making sure ain't nothing on fire, nothing burned up. I really wanted to get me some food. I ain't around no restaurant. And I could probably just get me a couple hours of sleep right now too, but hence, we just gonna keep on driving. Already telling me y'all need some power. You can't do shit without power. You don't pay your bill, Georgia Power. They gonna cut off your power. Oh, it's getting chilly out here, y'all. It's getting chilly out here. Ooh, this, should I make some noodles? You know what? Let's make some noodles, fuck it. We got chips. We need to get some more water. We got chips, we got crackers. Let's make us some noodles. Fuck it, we hungry. Right now, we can make us some noodles right now. Put some eggs in that thing, you know what I'm saying? We got some boiled eggs. We'll make some noodles, chop up some eggs and eat it with some chips and crackers, you feel me? Gotta make use of the struggle food right now. Cause we played the fool and passed all the food.
So you plan to kill me for
all day.
For as much as I thought
We did get it settled though.
It was real need a whack.
Woo!
But it was
That is
complicated
cold.
what I got going on if I go in the war with the clocks.
Whew.
And even
Cold
if I
like that.
chopped your fucking head off, it wouldn't balance the scales because you reacted as they expected you to. Like a child trying to drive his daddy's car. Shot, I applaud you for trying to bring the peace back to Harlem. But your Harlem Papa or Tommy Guns for that matter, neither of them would have allowed one of their capos to force their hands over a personal beef. I don't want no problems with you, Shot. At least not yet. But I am going to take my pound of flesh out of everyone that's caused me pain, including Rico. I'm only telling you this as courtesy because you're the boss in New York, even if it's in name only. You know Rico is one of my people, Sean reminded him. That's your bad, not mine, Sean. If you want to lay your head on the chopping block for this nigga, I'm okay with that. Like they say, a bullet ain't got no name on it. But if you was smart, you'd fall back and let me do what I gotta do and get out of your head. And what if I say otherwise? Shy asked, suspecting he already knew how Animal would respond. Animal paused as if he was weighing it. Then I'll take my chances going through you to get to him. And he began backing away. When he was clear, his three friends joined him. As an afterthought, Animal called for Shy. Give word to your people, Shy. The dog is back, and he's hungry. It wasn't until the young hoods were gone that the realization of what just happened set in. Honey began to sob uncontrollably, drawing the attention of two police officers who had been eating in the food court. As usual, they were too late to catch the perpetrators. It didn't matter, though, because neither Shy nor anyone with him would have talked to the police. I can't believe that little punk did that, Giselle said when they had made it back to the parking lot and the safety of Shy's armor-plated Suburban. These jokers got some big balls, but don't even trip. I'm going to see Animal in the streets. Shy. He turned to his best friend. On everything I love, I'm going to gobble this nigga up. Swan checked the clip of his gun. Let it be. Shy said to the eyes of everyone in the truck, especially Swan's. Swan looked at Shy as if he'd lost it. What the fuck do you mean, let it be? Shy, if we weren't in that mall, he probably would have tried to kill us. Swan, we both know how Animal is built. If he wanted to kill us, It wouldn't have mattered if we were in a mall or a precinct. He would have let his hammer go. I can understand your anger, my nigga, but I can also understand that young man's pain. I was harsh in the sentence I passed on Tech, but I had to make an example out of him for the shit he was pulling. If I'd let him rock, every one of these young niggas would have been trying to come for a piece of the commission. It was a judgment call, and that's what I tell myself so I can sleep with the decision. But if I had it to do all over again, I would have let him live. We gonna look like pussies if we let this go, Swan said heatedly. Shot looked at Swan. Swan, we're bosses, so I'm not concerned what it'll look like for us not to punish Animal. What I am worried about is waking up one night to find that crazy little bastard standing over my son's crib. Animal's face is plastered in every rap magazine in the country, yet he comes at us in a public place knowing that he is likely going to his death or a very long prison term. This tells us that he's past the point of logic and ain't gonna rest until this score is settled. Shah, do you seriously think that Animal would throw his life away over his man getting whacked? Shah thought on it for a minute. How would you react if it had been Tommy? Shah's older brother Tommy had been a mentor to all Papa's young guns, but Swan was his favorite. You got a point, Swan said, knowing full well he'd have charged into hell wearing gasoline underpants if it had been Tommy instead of Tech. Of course I do, which is exactly why I say that as long as Animal doesn't come this way with all that shit, we don't have to erase him. At least not yet. Animal is out of his freaking mind going at Rico with just him and the Three Stooges. The fact that he has a death wish isn't anything new, Swan. Heads feared Tech, but it was Animal who gave them cold sweats at night, because he would go where no one else was willing to. Shall weigh the situation.
Fuck that. We finna get us 30 minutes right here, man.
I think
I want for the just pop off. We finna get us 30 minutes of sleep in right here, man. We gotta get some sleepage, guys. We ain't really that sleepy, but we gonna make us a little thing of noodles and take us a nap, man. Appreciate you guys who been riding with me all this time. This ain't the rest area or nothing. I shouldn't really be stopping here that long, but I'm finna do it. I don't give a damn. Oh, no overnight parking. They said too. Well, this ain't overnight, nigga. This 30 minutes. So let me get me 30 minutes in, and I can get the hell on. You know what I'm saying? Damn, should we keep going? Nah, before we get them 30 minutes in, we'll eat the noodles. I did get the water, so we'll set the noodles up and eat the noodles when we leave after the 30 minutes. How about that? Got some chips. We got some chips. Got some chips, got some crackers to go with the noodles until we find probably a damn McDonald's or something, as late as it is now. But I appreciate y'all for subscribing, tapping in, rocking with your mans. Milkman, Millionaire Mission. Millionaire Mission clothing, put on some. Milkman splashing in the fishbowl with another episode talking about granddaddy and grandma. They be tripping, they was tripping, they had families. Granddaddy had 12 kids in Florida and 9 kids in Georgia and 6 kids in New York. And grandma had 6 kids from Pawpaw and 3 of them wasn't here, but he ain't know it. It was crazy growing up. Hey y'all, I'm tired a little bit, but I'm really more hungry than tired, but I'm gonna take a nap. And I'll be back, all right? Let me grab me like 30 minutes, 40 minutes of sleep. Damn that. I'll be back.